Showtime.
Yep, yep. Wait a minute. Listen, don't adjust your sets. Don't tune off. This is not a hostile takeover. This is in fact a championship culture takeover. That's right. Championship culture is sweeping the nations with so much championship glory, and it's in a timely fashion because tonight's show will strictly be built around everything championship related. And who better to lead the charge than the brothers of championship culture? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Because after this break, oh, yes, we have a very, very special edition of our show tonight because it is officially a championship culture takeover.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes! What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, did we get a woo on this? Well, let me start out by saying, welcome to the Wrestling Wrealm presents a championship culture edition of the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast. Now, before we get started, I gotta hit you with a few things. Just want to remind you, you can watch any of the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast or championship culture just by going to youtube.com/the Wrestling Wrealm. Now, if you want to catch up on everything championship culture before season 2 starts, don't fear. There's a whole playlist dedicated to championship culture where you can see all the shenanigans, get all the education, get everything that you need. You can watch all of our content anytime. Remember, youtube.com/the Wrestling Wrealm. Follow us on all social media platforms, including Instagram, Threads, X, and follow us on Facebook by using the Wrestling Wrealm. If you like and subscribe, just like you do in this show, we will follow back and we will comment with you when you make a comment. Now, for all our audio content, don't forget to follow us on Anchor, Stitcher, Podbean, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Google Podcasts. And you can watch all of us, our shenanigans on Twitch by following at the Wrestling Wrealm. Now, with that being said, everybody knows me. I'm Brandon the Guy. And I am joined by, of course, the super producer himself. H to the A to the S to the T to the... Oh, that man is the third. Ash the third. And one of the founders.
It is.
The realest man that you'll ever know. The owner, the CEO, the man, the myth, the legend, the 6'12" phenomenon. He might be the 10th wonder of the world, but ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the TRDA himself, the real Dwayne Allen. Welcome, everybody. And if you notice, we got one spot missing. Cannot forget our one, the only, the Jack Daddy himself. There you go. Hollywood, Brian H. Waters. He is here with us today in spirit. Nothing's wrong with him. We just got some obligations he had to take care of. But guess what? This
He's
is
just
a
a gump.
special edition. Is he the king of the gumps or just the gump tonight? Which one is it?
I'm gonna let him slide. He's just a king. I mean, he's just a gump.
Okay.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Just the gump. All right. So
Just the
now,
gump today.
ladies and gentlemen, why is it a championship of culture edition of the Wrestling Wrealm takeover? You might ask. Realness. Why has this happened today? Let's take a second and realize, because usually this is about the time when we remind people you can save some money on SeatGeek, right? We usually
Absolutely.
tell them that they can save some money. Now, if you're a fan of anything in the world, especially when it comes to football, the Ravens, of course, Baltimore own Ravens, are in the playoffs, and you can save $20 off any purchase of anything, $50 or more. And if you've seen any ticket pricing, whether it be concert, live events, even wrestling, minimum ticket probably is about $50. You click that promo code, the Wrestling Wrealm, and it's going to save you $20 off. just by using the code Wrestling Wrealm on SeatGeek.com. Now, I know we have a cheat code. If you sign up with a different email, you might can save another 20. But if you want to look like we do on the Wrestling Wrealm, you can always check out all of our merchandise on the WrestlingWrealm.com. You can get t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, shorts, jackets, polos, anything that you put on your body, we got you at the WrestlingWrealm.com. Look like us and support the brand always on Patreon.com/The Wrestling Wrealm. You get all exclusive content. You get some of Brian H. Waters' thoughts. There's a section called Realness Reacts. But it's a lot. I'm just going to say in 2024, we're going to have Realness Reacts on Patreon. I'm saying it. I'm speaking it. We're promising the people. We had one. We had an episode that was very impactful. I got to be a part of it. Trust me. If you want to see it, let the realness know. Patreon.com/The Wrestling Wrealm. We're going to have some exclusive content coming. So, brothers, this is the part when Dwayne likes to tell us. We talk about the latest and greatest show ever, right? We're talking about my favorite thing, championship culture. It's usually followed up with I got notes. But as we know, we are approaching season 2, which will be Tuesday, January 23rd at 8 p.m. Season 2 of Championship Culture. This season will have 25 impactful episodes, which will mirror season 1 that had 25 episodes, plus one bonus. Now, don't get confused. This is just a Championship Culture edition that we're taking over, our flagship show. But if you want to watch individual content about championship belts, if you want to learn about championship belts, if you want to learn about how every belt has a story, tune in on Tuesday, January 23rd, 2023. I'm 24. Now, Hugh, every belt has a story. Can I give the breaking news or can I give the breaking news or can I
Wait a minute, hold on. We got breaking news.
I'm not even sure what the breaking news is, but okay.
So, the CEO and owner of TRDA has been brought on for season 2 as a special producer, a special consultant.
Make it sound good like the advocate for Brock Lesnar or the wise man. You got
So, this man, if anybody knows him, he loves a lot of things, but I think he has a special passion for these championship belts. And for season 2, he is in control of 5 episodes, right? And I was told, and I don't know why he's acting like this, that he's decided since we're taking over this episode, he's taking over episode 1 of season 2. So, needless to say, there's been a slight change in the programming. And season 1, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to tell you this. He's very candid about what he's going to do, and he's been hinting at some things on the show. He actually dropped the exclusive clip. If I was you, when I say every belt has a story, he got that belt behind him. I think it might be that story revealed, but I don't know. I just know he's taking over episode 1. And I know if you stay tuned on Wednesdays, you might can get a clip of it, and you might be able to see something. So, realness.
Guess what, Brandon? I think today's that Wednesday.
It's belt time. Waiting on these championship culture boys. We out here in the hood. Waiting these championship culture boys to come and drop off this ECW television championship. So yeah. Wait for Brother Brandon to pull up so we could do this little exchange. So you never know what championship culture got. They always pulling some type of shenanigans. So we'll see what happens. These dudes coming up the street? Nah, I don't see him just yet. Is this him right here? I think we got action. Yep. Here we go. I think they just pulled up. What's up, brother Hugh? What are you doing?
Why do you have what you call it out?
Nah. Nope. I got treated like the police, bro.
You're up to something.
Nah, y'all up to something, bro.
I'm not. I'm really not.
What's up, brother Hugh?
What's going on? Listen.
Didn't say you was coming, man. What's going on?
I'm coming with a
What's up? How you doing, brother? Oh,
So
Brother
I'm
Hughes
coming
here.
with a peace offering, but I brought you a belt. Will you stop recording me? Right
nah.
Coming with
Nah.
a peace offering.
Look at these guys. First of all, we in the hood. Like, this is a belt exchange.
Listen, I'm coming with a peace offering,
Yeah.
and this is the belt, I promise you. But I brought you the belt bag too because I know how you are. So if you want to see the rest of that story, if you want to know what went down on that said cold day when there was a belt exchange happening, please tune in on Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024 at 8 p.m., where the realness has taken over the first episode of season 1 of Championship Culture because every belt has a story. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Realness, what say ye about that?
Listen, man, I can't wait to tell the rest of that story. Oh man,
There's so
yeah,
much prequel.
those I don't get got
The
often,
prequel to
but
post.
that was definitely a double turn. I wasn't expecting that, but I cannot wait until season 2. Season 1 was already phenomenal. Like I said, if you like Brother Brandon just said, if you want to catch up on season 1, youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm Championship Culture playlist. But season 2, you guys have gone up and beyond. I mean, the rise of championship culture is ridiculous, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And the first episode is going to show it like that. I can't wait to tell the rest of that story because it's a special story, but it's in true championship culture fashion. It's full of shenanigans, full of craziness, and you can tell that we're all wrestling fans by that whole exchange. So trust me, season 2, episode 1, you do not want to miss it. This is something that has been a long time to make it, but like I said, I'm happy to be a part of it. Does this count as one of my 5 shows? Does this count?
We'll get back to that, Cal. I mean,
Okay,
it
so
might.
that
I think
means
it's
yes.
in conjunction. No, you know what? I'll say this now. It won't count as one of your 5 shows. This
Okay,
is your
fair
bonus,
enough.
so that way you can. Because I know if anybody knows the realness, he puts time, energy, and effort in everything. That preview was all him. I had nothing to do with it. The super producer has a third, which the S stands for shenanigans, but we'll get into that later in season 2. But I will tell you this: if you're interested to find out what happens next, you do not want to miss this. And not only that, he's been very quiet about this belt behind him. And I know it has some significance not only to him, but to the wrestling realm. And it's a special, unique championship for a couple different reasons. And all will be revealed on the 23rd. Is that safe to say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. I'm glad I get a chance to tell it first.
Oh yeah, and I'm excited for you because this has been a interesting ride. He's probably the number one fan when it comes to championship culture, and he's the number one input, number one. Hey, this is what we need to do. So it's kind of like he's the third man of championship culture. But you heard
He's the
that
third
first.
man.
And with that being said, we got a lot to talk about tonight, don't we, sir?
We do, but first and foremost, let's give Brother Brandon a round of applause for that intro. I mean, this is definitely a championship takeover, but sheesh, ladies and gentlemen, come
And
on.
I'll tell you, the way makes it look easy. And when I tell you, I don't know how he does it. I think he got it memorized. I'm out of practice, but this man, don't give me applause. Give him the credit for how many years straight, how many weeks straight. I think last year we only took 1 week off.
Yeah, if
I
even
think it was
that.
51 weeks straight. This man does this intro. This man gets us through the show. This man produces the flagship show. And he makes it look easy. So that tells you he's enjoying it and he has a passion for it. So I'm going to appreciate you on there, brother, with your passion. It marinates through the other 3. I'm going to speak for myself. Your passion always comes through and it's kind of contagious and it's kind of like I need to get up to your level. You make it seem so effortlessly and the grit that you have with it, I'm like, dang, I got to do more to get on his level. So I'm gonna just appreciate you for that. And I know they probably like, all right, get to the meat and potatoes of the show. But I'm telling you, if you haven't seen anything that TRDA has done, and I'm gonna keep saying TRDA because he is the CEO of TRDA. What does that stand for, sir?
Take respect, defy adversity every day of the week.
Alright.
Take respect, defy adversity.
And I think that he not only embodies that being 6'12", he actually, lives it, eats it, breathes it, and believes it. That's a big difference. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And I think we've. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's back. he passed out when he saw that clip because you know
No,
it
he
was
had
too
to
much for.
advertise. If you,
Oh no. Yeah, that's exactly what
he
you know
had
the
to
deal.
advertise.
I had to let
He
you
I
passed
knew it
out.
was.
That's what it was.
full effect of that that
Yeah.
beautiful background back there. You know what I'm saying? You had to get that full effect. Every
No,
joint
that
has
joint
a
is
story,
fire
the
though.
little flames and whatnot. Yeah,
That
it's a
that
takeover for
joint
sure.
is fire. I definitely was that first of all, thank you for those kind words, good brother. Like I said, it's I appreciate that, man. You guys are doing big things. Like I said, I'm trying not to spoil what I do know because then you guys will never tell me anything ever again. I got to fight with you guys in information. I finally got a little bit. I don't want to mess it up, but thank you again, good brothers, for those kind words. And like I said, this is all about you guys today. But yes, we do have a lot to get into tonight. It's because tonight's championship culture takeover edition of the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast is because there's a lot of championship culture going around in the business, and we have to get into it. We are just a few days, I guess a week or two, maybe shy from the Royal Rumble, and things are heating up. But not only in the Royal Rumble, TNA Wrestling Hard to Kill is this weekend actually, and they have
This
finally
Saturday.
debuted. Yeah, they debuted their brand new TNA championships. We're still waiting on two. We're still waiting on the women's world title and the women's tag. The knockouts world title and the knockouts tag titles. But we at least have 4 championship titles that they have absolutely crushed it. And we have a lot to get into. We have championship matchups. We have new factions that are fighting for championships, and we have all these championship contenders. So this is why tonight is a special championship culture takeover edition. So with that being said, good brothers, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. But as you know, the first thing we always do is we have a certain segment that we start off every show with. Is because we try to make sure that we keep our minds fresh and our hearts full of wrestling so we can be ready for this show and bring everything we have to the table. So, brothers, what did you watch this week?
I guess you wait for
Now,
me to go, Brandon.
I want to. Usually I would. Usually I would, but in this situation, because it's a championship culture takeover edition, I'm gonna go first. It's because I'm gonna tell you what I did to make sure I prepared myself for this show. I went back and watched a bunch of heavyweight championship matches. I watched a bunch of belt unravelings, like I watched when The Rock debuted his belt. I watched when they re-debuted the World Heavyweight Championship, the new version of today. I watched a lot of championship title matches all across the board to say, you know what, I got to get my mind in the championship frame. I got to be ready to talk these championship culture, boy, because you guys are belt kings to the fullest. So that's what I got into this week. I think the last one I watched. What was the last one I watched? I watched when Sting and Kurt Angle TNA. I'm on a Sting train right now because Sting is winding down and he just had a crazy spot on AEW as of the recording of this show. But that's what I kind of got into. But like I said, Brother Hugh, what did you watch this week, sir?
Well, I woke up and for some reason I found my Dolph Ziggler rabbit hole. You know it was coming.
Really?
You know it was coming.
I wonder why.
Well, of all people.
Yeah. Ziggy, yes, sir. Now I found myself going down a rabbit hole. I went back, watched all his returns, and just watched all his title matches. I don't know why it just hit me. I woke up, feeling good and feeling very Ziggy-like. So that's what I got into.
Makes sense. I don't know.
It
It almost seems as if something's going on with Dolph Ziggler right now. I don't know.
I know it's like a white strap or something, but
big
he
white
has
strap,
a history with a white strap.
boots.
He has a white strap. History.
Hold
on, he got a history with a white strap, don't he?
Are you championship culture guys talking about championship belts again?
No, not at all. We're talking about
okay. No, I didn't think so. It didn't sound like
right.
it. I just wanted to make sure.
What
about you, Brother Brandon? What did you watch this week, sir?
So it's when I went back and watched it, it actually moved higher up in my favorite matches. And we have a fluid list of like top 10, top 5. I can never narrow it down to 5, so I usually keep like a top 10 list, right? But I think it's pushed itself into the top 10, and it's actually dealing with, Impact World Title. And I didn't realize how good the match is because me going back and watching it now, I'm like, it really stands up to the test of the excitement around it, the nostalgia behind it. And it was a recent match. I'm talking about Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage.
Oh, yeah, that was a classic.
I still couldn't believe it had some shenanigans, but the fact that Christian Cage won the Impact World Title on an AEW program and on that first episode of Dynamite was just, I thought it would be like, I've seen,
Was it
of
Rampage?
course, we've seen other matches. Rampage. I'm sorry, Rampage.
Mhm.
Of course, we've seen other matches, but going back and watching and then talking to brother Dennis King, we were talking about some of the matches and everything. I said, I got to go back and watch this, and that was the one that I watched recently that really stood out. And I just never that kill switch or unprettier on the chair and the way Kenny sold it. It was like, it took me back to that moment of me watching it. It's like, oh my god, he actually won. Because at the time, and when we talk about wrestling history, sometimes the match is good, but when you understand the history behind that match, it was like, hold on, Christian at this day and age winning a world championship, knowing what he did for Impact / TNA, and knowing how much Kenny Omega was on that pedestal at that time, he was really unbeatable. That was his belt collector run. That's where he was like, ain't nobody touching me. Nobody's getting close. I'm gonna have a good match, but you're not getting close. And for Christian to dethrone him and take not only the Impact World title, but remember at the time the TNA World title too. So kind of nostalgia that Christian gets the two belts that he didn't have a chance to hold because they weren't around when he was in there. But it was kind of nice that he had it and the whole thing behind it. But that was the last thing I watched. I watched some other stuff too, but that was more focused around the Rumble again, some spots here and there. But other than that, that's what I watched. Of course, dealing with championship belts because every belt has a story.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Once again, shout out to everybody in the chat that have joined us tonight. We appreciate your comments. Thank you for being a part of the show. Now, with that being said, tonight is another one of those loaded shows, and by this being once again a championship culture takeover edition, we might as well start with some championships, gentlemen. Recently, in season 1, you guys did a very, very special edition of championship culture in which you guys discuss the importance of one said NXT North American Championship. If you all missed that show, head over to youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm Championship Culture playlist and find that episode. Do a little digging and see if you can find it. Go back and watch it. It's because guess what, gentlemen? Recently on NXT, we have a new NXT champion in Oba Femi. That's right. We have a new NXT North America. Like I have to say his name like that I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if this is wrong or not, but I was saying his name like that before I even heard him speak. Is that no, it's not. That's okay.
That's
It's fine. It's okay.
We have a new Nigerian nightmare. Oba Femi. The matchup was originally between Dragon Lee and I say what?
I thought we already had one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear brother you. Well, yeah,
Don't worry
we
about
got
it.
another one. We busting quotas. we breaking
Continue.
quotas
Keep
around
going.
here.
Don't start thinking
Right.
about it. You're gonna hurt yourself thinking too hard.
The original matchup was Dragon Lee versus Lexus King, and then recently the NXT Breakout Star cashed in his contract and decided to go after the North American Championship. Recently, we've seen Oba Femi show up in NXT, and he's a monster of a man. He's first of all, he's very athletic, has an amazing look, very, very strong, a true powerhouse, and he made immediate impact. And now we're in a space where Oba Femi decided to call a shot. Also, like I said, winning the NXT. I'll keep want to call it the Top Prospect tournament because of Ring of Honor, but it's the NXT Breakout Star Championship. But what do you think about NXT pulling the trigger so quick on Oba Femi? It's obvious that Shawn Michaels and Triple H are very high on him and his talent and what he brings to the table. That, like I said, Dragon Lee, he hasn't even held the title for that long, and for Oba Femi to make his championship debut with the NXT North American Championship, a championship that you adore, that you spoke very highly of in the past. What do you think about NXT kind of going in this direction right now instead of kind of letting it sizzle with a more of established brand like Dragon Lee?
Well, I was happy because it's going to put some focus on him because remember when Carmelo Hayes, similar situation. Remember he was the breakout star and all that stuff. Look what it did for his career. Do we have Carmelo Hayes now without the NXT breakout tournament? Do we have Oba Femi as many eyes on him right now? And they're like, oh, this guy actually did it. He beat an established star in Dragon Lee, somebody that we took from NXT, put him on the main roster. Whether win, lose, or draw, he's flourishing on it. He's got the blessed array, and now this guy has dethroned him. And in defeat, I still want to see Dragon Lee, but now I'm interested in, all right, what is he going to do next? What's the next matchups? What's going to happen next? If he did this well in this tournament, it made me pay attention to him. Now I know I got at least another 6 months to say, all right, what is he doing? And I'm looking forward to him and Alexis King. That might be a feud that's going to take NXT to WrestleMania.
Did you call him Alexis King?
I mean, Alexis King. I keep... At least I didn't call him his old name. But I'm just saying.
I have a quick question for you. How do you feel about Alexis King's Michael Jackson "We Are the World" jacket that he comes out in? You know, the "We Are the World" documentary on Netflix. And Alexis King has the Michael Jackson. He comes out with the Michael Jackson "We Are the World"
with the tassels and everything. Yeah. I'm like,
I'm just asking your thoughts.
Like, you know, you're a gear person like me. I like his gear and I like his look because he's different. I always have a thing about when wrestlers wear like jackets and stuff to the ring. I'm like, you're just gonna throw it off. You're wearing it for 2 seconds and throwing it off. So it doesn't bother me. Sometimes I think it does add to their presence. Sure. But it's like with him, it's like, all right, come on. I know you can wrestle. I know what you're going to do. The jacket's distracting me. You know what I mean? Like, I can see it was part of like one of the NXT PLE events that he won, but he's wearing it every week. I'm like, all right, stop it. Like, it's I feel like it's too much. But this NXT, I think he probably will be. He might knock somebody out of my top 5 because remember on Championship Culture, under the underrated belt was the NXT North American, and we gave our top 5 of them, and it was a tie for number 1 for a reason. True. But I think he might knock somebody out of this. If he does what I think he's going to do and live up to the potential of the hype, he's probably going to be in that top 5 category for North American champions.
Do we eventually get a faction with Oba Femi, Omos, and Apollo Crews?
No. You know why I say no? And
why is that?
So tonight on AEW made me realize not only is it nobody can be by themselves on AEW, now no factions can be by themselves either. I'm like, can we just let them be? Just let them do something on there. Just let them be. And I hate that trope of because we're all the same something, we got to be in the same group. We don't need that. It's okay. It's okay. Just let him be him. Maybe if he get a manager, might be cool. But we really don't know what he really can do on the mic.
Sure.
And we don't know what he's actually capable of as far as getting us invested in him outside of his wrestling. Because we're definitely vested from the wrestling.
That makes sense. Brother Hugh, what do you think about Oba Femi being the new NXT North American champion?
Hey, I thought it was too soon at first, to be honest. It surprised me. I didn't think he was going to get the win.
No, I didn't either.
But also, I had to think about it too. Dragon Lee, he seemed like a transitional champion anyway. So it was only a matter of time to where he was going to lose it. I just didn't see them pulling the trigger on Oba Femi that quick. But overall, like you said, he's a big dude. He's a ton of charisma. Has to work on his mic skills for sure, but you can always fix that. And honestly, he doesn't really have to talk that much.
Sure.
He just let his wrestling and just let his talent show.
Let me ask you, Brandon. Let me ask you, because Brandon might be against it. What do you think about Omos and Oba Femi being a tag team? Who's going to beat that? Come on.
That's not fair.
You talk about Nigerian dominance.
Right.
I have traces.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
So I'm biased.
Two totally different type of them. That would be. You know how they put Mark Henry and MVP together, and it was like, why?
Well,
remember that pair?
One's the worker, one's the powerhouse. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, that is true.
They were both established. Single stars that when you put them together, it was like, why?
Right, but they're established. These guys are young guys. These guys are barely scraping the surface.
That's why they need to establish that. So.
Okay. All right. What do you have there, brother? Because he's pulling on.
What is that?
That was the Wrestling Wrealm belt. My bad. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's cool.
You see how he hit the background too? Like, I would just see the front.
Yeah, he's just like, I was like,
I can't see what's that.
Oh, okay. Wrestling Wrealm Championship. No, it's okay.
Well, what's that behind? Hold on, what's that behind him?
No, I guess we got quite a few.
Old school X Division.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So we just handing out belts now, huh? That's cool. I get it. No, I've been there. I've gotten belts before. In case you ever noticed, like we just watched the video. Yeah, that's the thing. No, it's cool. I get it. But speaking of belts, we're going to continue this championship culture train because this is. And I'm glad you're back, brother Hugh, because we're going to step into right before we get to good for business, bad for business. we got to talk about a brand new championship. We're gonna take some time away from the States, and we're gonna hop on the Wrestling Wrealm train and head to the land of the rising sun. And we're going to discuss a brand new championship that has been introduced that Brother Brandon has been talking about for a minute, and he lost some faith in some of the recent designs of New Japan Pro Wrestling's titles, but we're going to get his very championship culture opinion about this one as we step into which will eventually become our next segment, which is good for business, bad for business. Like I said, Brother Hugh, we made the announcement last week which one is going to be. So let's just get into it right now. Recently, New Japan has introduced their IWGP Global Championship. They have eliminated the first of all, they originally retired the Intercontinental IWGP Intercontinental Championship, which was actually relatively new. I believe MVP was the first winner of the original title, and they decided to merge it with the IWGP World Championship, and they introduced the United States Championship. You know, they're looking for global expansion. New Japan Pro Wrestling, of course, and they decided to. Hey,
2011, it was introduced. The Intercontinental 2011.
there you go. Like
is when
that's pretty recent. Like I didn't know that. Like I didn't know it until like I thought it was around for longer than that. But so then they introduced United States Championship, which would eventually evolve into the United Kingdom Championship, thanks to Will Ospreay. But eventually they made the announcement that I don't know if it's due to leadership changes or what the case may be, but they would also be officially be retiring the United States Championship as well and introducing a new title. So this is the new title which they have given us. This is supposed to be the IWGP International World Grand Prix. For those who don't know what IWGP stands for, Global Championship. And this is what we have all been like. This is, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is the year of titles, the year of belts, but we've just been getting a lot of new titles, a lot of designs, a lot going on between last year and this year. And I want to get you guys' take on this particular championship. And Brother Hugh, after Brother Brandon goes, I want your very, very specific opinion on this championship as well, especially with it being a white strap. I don't know. I feel like they're trying to tell us something. But Brother Brandon, what do you think
Yeah.
about this title?
So to understand that title, you got to understand IWGP and New Japan, how they like to break into the American audience. The Intercontinental belt was introduced in 2011 as part of their American invasion, and it was actually through, was it Jersey Pro Wrestling? Jersey All Pro Wrestling. They were having a partnership with them, and that's where, from the tournament, that first show that they had, that's what the Intercontinental title was introduced in 2011. MVP won it. Fun fact, he actually beat Okada in the first round. Most people might not remember that.
No, I don't.
Because you probably got real sad all of a sudden.
Nobody
you know who you
remembers
beat in the
that
second
part
round?
MVP.
You remember who you beat in the second round?
No. I just remember the belt was ugly.
Yeah, it was very ugly.
The first one was not an attractive title, and it was bronze. Like it was like
it looked rusty.
Yeah,
it looked like it had been through some things. But then, as part of another American expansion, they wanted to make the IWGP United States belt, and that had a very short. That only lasted 2017 to when it was deactivated in December of 23. So, in a belt span of things, short history, but it did have a lot of history. But it was a lot of hot shot happening with that. The pandemic had a lot to do with it. Sure. So now their approach is we want something that will be known everywhere. We want a global title. We wanted to be able to defend it anywhere. So no matter where they go, what they do, it's going to be everywhere. I think it's a great concept, but it's a bad concept in a world where we have the All Atlantic, the International, we have the Intercontinental, we have the North American, the digital media, we got the National Championship, we got all these other titles that's supposed to be the same thing. Now, hands down, they restored my faith that they can make pretty belts. I don't know. I think they were just sleeping the last couple ones. So this is definitely a pretty belt. It's definitely going to be something that you're going to want to pay attention to, because if the first contender has already been named and we know what they're capable of doing, it's going to be interesting. The simple fact that they've taken hints from other belts like the lion roaring on the side is just what's striking to me. And the side plates actually are globes. So they let you know this ain't just something for New Japan or the United States. It's global. It's going to be all over the world. I personally love it. I think it's going to be a show stealer, and it's going to be showing off.
I like
and
I like that one too. It's a bounce pass.
Yeah, I really do. And I love the fact that it's on a white strap because I think that's what was missing. And as previously stated on Championship Culture, does the strap matter? I think in this case it does. If you want to go back and hear about the strap matter, it's a whole episode sitting around. Does the strap matter?
One
So
of the wildest titles for season one of one of the shows. 'Cause when I first heard it, I was like, wait,
you're
wait
like,
a minute, brothers. What are we getting into here? But yeah,
but I think it's
very
going to be a
informative though.
good. I think it's going to be good. And remember, there's a lot of yes, the women belts in more modern history have been attached to a white strap. But when we see white strap, we almost think workhorse. We think of, oh yeah, that's a belt I need to pay attention to. And just another fun fact, championship culture fact. Uh,
Mhm.
Brother Allen,
Mhm.
who made the IWGP Intercontinental title prestigious?
For me, or you
Well,
talking
for
about just
you,
in
and
general?
who made you pay attention to it? And you remember why?
Yeah, it was during the Shinsuke Nakamura era.
Boom.
Uh 2000 and
Yep.
I don't know, maybe what, 13,
It was a
14?
yeah. I was gonna say that was during his when he really became the rock star Shinsuke.
They Shinsuke Nakamura, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, Katsuyori Shibata, Tetsuya Naito, um, and all. I'm missing the names of all the vets because there was a handful of vets that were like holding it down, including like Yuji Nagata,
Kota Ibushi snuck in there
Kota
towards the end. Remember, he
Kota
was like
Kota Ibushi, Kota.
he
Yeah,
had some title
how could I
matches,
forget
but
him?
he didn't win. Yeah, because he didn't really hold it. He kept having the title matches that made you say, "Oh," but
They
it
were
was
they were like the lifeblood of New Japan, and then you had AJ Styles that just came in as Finn was leaving out, and to me, it was like if Shinsuke was the Intercontinental Champion, Hiroshi Tanahashi was the IWGP World Champion, or Okada was, and vice versa. So when Shinsuke was the IWGP, then Hiroshi Tanahashi was the IWGP Intercontinental. Those guys really made that title for me during Okada's kind of come up, and to me, it was always prestigious. From I think my first Wrestle Kingdom that I actually went back and watched was Wrestle Kingdom 8. It was a couple of guys running their mouths in the Facebook group about how bad WWE was and New Japan this, New Japan that. And I'd always known about New Japan because if you grew up watching WCW, they were always mentioned. So like if you grew up in wrestling spaces, you always heard it. But I actually went back and watched like Wrestle Kingdom, and I was blown away. That's why I first discovered the Bullet Club. That's when I thought they were just a tag team. I thought it was just Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. I was like, oh, I remember him. Then only to find out that it was about to turn into something bigger than it was maybe a year later. So yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura was the one that kind of made it prestigious for me.
and I'm telling you, I think it's about to have this belt. I think is about to be a big deal in the wrestling space.
Now, speaking of big deals, Brother Hugh, this
Yes, sir.
IWGP Global Champion, the current champion right now is David Finlay. He was in a triple threat match with John Moxley and who else is in that stinking match?
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay. I'm tripping. Yeah, because in my mind I'm like, why was Will Ospreay in this match knowing he's leaving? But
But he was
this
the
was
last
this was a match.
US/UK champion.
David Finlay is up next for New Japan. There's always a foreigner.
Yep.
I don't know if people find the word gaijin offensive, but there's always a non-Japanese performer that kind of helps build that wrestling brand. And David Finlay is that guy. Like I told somebody earlier, I said I thought it was gonna be Chase Owens, but I don't know. He kind of fizzled out. But David Finlay is clearly up next. In the absence of losing my guy Switchblade Jay White, and he's the current IWGP global champion. And during that match at Wrestle Kingdom, we saw the return of one of our favorites, Brother Hugh, your man, Mr. Zigzag himself, Dolph freaking Ziggler. I ain't calling him Nick Nemeth. His name is Dolph Ziggler.
Exactly.
Right?
Nick Nemeth sounds like a villain, doesn't it?
It
Like
does.
it
It's
sounds like a
somebody
villain
from
from like a cartoon or something.
We've
Nick
watched too many
Nemeth is on
cartoons,
the
graphic
attack.
novels. Yeah, so first of all, we
Dr.
were happy to
Nemeth.
see him. He shows up,
Yes.
and he shows up. We were happy to see him, and he kind of made his intentions clear about David Finlay disrespected him, and they kind of got into it. And afterwards, during a press conference, Dolph Ziggler showed up with a receipt. He attacked David Finlay. He picked up the championship, and he made it very clear that hey, the fans watch this match and they deserve somebody that kind of represents what this championship really, really means. And David Finlay didn't want to hear any of it, but Dolph Ziggler
He
had
was
something to
here
say.
to
He
show the world.
apologized. He apologized because he said, I don't work here. Like, but guess what? We got a recent announcement that
Mhm.
Dolph Ziggler is officially signed for a match. I don't know if it's how long it is, but he will be taking on David Finlay for the IWGP Global Championship. Brother Hugh, I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than this. I mean, what are you thinking? Like when you see this championship, this course it gives us that same prestige of what made that white strap Intercontinental Championship what it was. And he played probably 80%. Him and the Miz carried that championship in his lineage and his legacy, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about your guy Dolph Ziggler making his return to pro wrestling after his 90 days non-compete clause is up, after being released on such a major platform, and now he's going to be challenging David Finlay for this championship?
Man, I'm ecstatic, man. Like when he showed up, when I woke up that next morning and I saw he showed up, man, I almost cried. I ain't gonna lie.
That sounds like you.
I woke up and started texting him like crazy. Texting the group like
You
crazy.
text Dolph? Oh, I thought you text Dolph. I thought you had his number.
No, I wish I did. Get him on championship culture.
No, seriously,
But
when is the match going to be? Did they announce? He said he's the. When
Yes,
did they say the
they
match
did
is going
make
to
it
take
it's the
place?
end of January, right?
I believe so. We gotta figure it out. We gotta look it up. But go ahead and say what you're saying, Brother Hugh. We'll look it up while you're trying to
No, I'm excited. I'm excited because we've seen him in the E for so long, and he reached his ceiling quickly in the E. So it's like I'm just amped to see like what he can do without the WWE's backing. What can he do on his own? And how big of a star can he really be? Can he rejuvenate his career? As a single star in other promotions. And I love the fact that he's just going around doing his independent run, doing his world tour, just like Mustafa Ali. But yeah, white strap. As soon as I saw the white strap, I was like, look, they go together, man. They go together. It's coming home. He gonna show the world. You know how it is.
Yeah, that match is actually set for January 23rd. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Championship
January
culture.
23rd. What's the name of the event? I don't even know. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm looking it up, and it's not. No, which color on there?
Oh yeah, it's
I
New
saw it.
Beginning. Yes, it's New Beginning in Sapporo. They do that. That's always the first one they do after Wrestle Kingdom. That's like that pay-per-view to kind of start the new year off.
That's cool.
They usually put on a lot of crazy matches, like even fresh off Wrestle Kingdom, they go to like their next hottest matches, which is the big deal. Having Dolph Ziggler face off like David Finlay just won. Now I'm like, well, shoot, he might lose. And trust me, because New Japan is not shy about pulling the trigger on a hot
That is
hand.
true. That is true.
Because AJ showed up and he won the same day he showed up. He won the IWGP Championship his first night. Like, hey, I'm here, I win, and then he went on that crazy run. So it's always good for Dolph Ziggler to be there. But guess what, though? We have to go a little bit deeper because we are the Wrestling Wrealm. So let's just get into our next segment. We made the announcement, and we just talk about why
Hold
we're
on.
happy.
First of all, can I jump in real quick?
By all means.
That's a fitting name. A new beginning.
Really?
Yeah,
New
think
beginning.
about it. We're gonna
There
get a
you
new
go.
champion. We're gonna get a new champion on 123. Plus, we have some show name. What's it called? Championship Culture.
Wait a minute, let me see.
123.
You talking about this championship culture?
That championship culture. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, that starts the same day. So I mean,
So Hugh, you
Actually,
know
back
what I'm
then-
more excited for when
what's
you
that?
go see Dolph on the 4th if he has the belt. I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, Hugh might, and his date of birth is one thing, but his date of death. If Dolph Ziggler wins that belt on December 4th, that will be his last day breathing. Because he's
Wow.
probably gonna, when he sees Dolph Ziggler, he's probably gonna die, and I'm gonna have to like do CPR or something or have an oxygen tank ready because
You might as well
this
start
man
getting
is gonna lose
certified now.
Right.
this man, I'm telling you, he gonna be in the parking lot waiting for this man. Like, let me get the door for you, Mr. Zigzag. I got you, sir.
Great.
What
Hey,
you
listen.
need some wood?
Hugh,
Let me
don't
blow your hair
feel
out for
bad.
you.
I
Get
did the
some
same thing
hairspray.
with AJ Styles in the Ring of Honor. I carried his bags down the steps with no shame.
Right.
No, Jay Lethal walked in the door. He said, Jay looked at him like, I said, you need help with your bag, sir? AJ, I carried his bags right to the locker room with no shame. I was proud. I came back and said, yo, I just carried AJ Styles' bags. I don't care. So, brother, don't feel bad.
I won't. I won't.
But that brings us to our next segment. Every week we do a segment called Good for Business, Bad for Business, where we pick a subject, a wrestler, or a topic, and we talk about, is this really good for business or is it bad for business? Is it the right move or is it not the right move? Who does it work for? Who doesn't work for? And we just talked about Dolph Ziggler being having his first match in New Japan, but let's just talk about him in general. Good for business, bad for business. Dolph Ziggler. I'm not going to ask Brother Hugh first because I know what he's going to say. Let's talk to Brandon because he'll break it
Look
down.
at that
against me
graphic
and
though.
lose.
Can we look at this? What is?
He picked the most glamorous shot of Zigzag.
Right. Why is he so sexy? What? He look like
Oh
that?
my gosh! Look at his hair. That
You
man
gotta
is
watch
45
X-Blade to
years
know
old.
that reference.
Yeah,
Look
you
at
definitely do.
There's a shout out to Ace Vane, not Ace Van on YouTube. He does a lot of skits, and one of them is I hope somebody's watching. He be like, "Why is he so sexy? Why did he pick that picture?" You could
Well, brother, you did him justice, but good for business, bad for his brother Brandon. Dolph Ziggler in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Is this good for business or bad for business? Let me tell you why I decided to go with this for good for business or bad for business. We kept talking about New Japan kind of losing some of their heavy hitters. It's because AEW is paying good money for people to work stateside. That's just let's call a spade, you know. And you know the Tetsuya Naito, I believe, is the current IWGP World Champion. He
Yep.
just beat
Mhm.
Sonata.
That's my
Yep.
buddy.
Which is crazy. Did you
Yep.
did you see that coming?
No, I
No.
did not. Like I'm telling
I
you, like
know.
fresh off of Wrestle Kingdom, I'm not. But they have no problem pulling the trigger on certain things, and it's weird even seeing Sonata in New Japan as it is because he was. I knew him mostly in his younger days from like Wrestle One, and even some of his spots that he did like in Pro Wrestling Noah. But to see
I
him
was
as
gonna say Noah's where I remember him from.
it's crazy. He looks so different now. He's such an
Mhm.
evolved guy, and to see where he is now compared to where he was, but then just that quickly he lost the title. So they need established names and brands, and we were all trying to figure out what's the next move for a Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth, and I never wanted to see him in AEW. I didn't see him going to New Japan. I figured maybe he might just work the global scene and pull like Matt Cardona and just work every indie he wants to and get big paydays. But he showed up at New Japan Pro Wrestling, which was a pleasant surprise to me. But let me ask you, is this good for business or bad for business to have a talent like Dolph Ziggler showing up in New Japan Pro Wrestling rather than showing up elsewhere?
I think it's great for business. Not only good, I think it's great. If I would have chose, I thought his number one pick would have been TNA, because of the dance partners
No,
there.
I knew they couldn't afford him.
No, and this is because of what they're trying. Put it like this: when I saw TNA, I saw him and Alex Shelley fight immediately for the world title. I saw that happening because I was like, a big name, put some spark into him. But now he's in he's in New Japan.
New Japan's a bigger
There's
stage.
there's a bigger stage, and there's slow dance partners he can get to. It doesn't have to be
There you go.
immediately to that title. That's why I'm excited for him going after that global title. Because
Mhm.
can you imagine him at, like I said, MCW with the global championship?
Sure.
They might record something of him doing something there and show it. And you know how New Japan is protective about their footage.
Sure.
He's going to do an indie. He can still do his indie run if he wants, and still be the global champion. Be everywhere with it, whether it's in Progress or any of those other ones that's in. Help me out. Where what culture and all them was from. I'm drawing a blank, but I'm just saying he can be anywhere because he
Like
has
Rev
it.
Pro UK and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
at Rev Pro, perfect example. Him going to Rev Pro, that's perfect. And it feels like this is probably going to be his
Progress.
resurgence
Yeah.
and his second run now, where it's wow. But he still have all these people in New Japan that he can. Can you just imagine him in the same ring with your guy? Even though
yeah.
he's the president right now, they got to give him that match.
Listen,
They got to give him that match because he's going to sell it and he's going to.
he
You gotta
answered my
say
question.
it. Say it. Only
because
you can say the names a certain way.
Hiroshi. That's like
There you go.
you guys gotta watch.
There you go. I love
You
it.
have listen. I love and I respect New Japan Global, and I love Kevin Kelly and Steve Corino and Ian Riccaboni when they do their. I love it. It's really really good because they're very familiar with the product. It takes us back to our Ring of Honor days, but it's something different when you listen to it with the original Japanese Dutch.
And the
Original,
announcers, you do it such good. You
They
do
were
it.
like-
You do it so good. I was like, I was trying to imitate. I was like, nobody can do it like him.
like IWGP, Intercontinental Champion.
AJ Styles, and you're like, what? You're like, this,
AJ Styles.
like it's just, but I'm just saying, there's so many matchups, and it's going to be so. It's 2024 is going to be the year for the wrestling fan. We're going to be treated. There's so much stuff that we didn't know we needed. We didn't know that we needed Dolph in New Japan.
And that's exactly how I feel. And I'm glad it's because I've been struggling to get into it because I'm just like, I feel like I'm seeing the same guys. And I'm like, we need some type of star power. And, you need more dance bosses for Okada, and then especially with Jay White. I didn't think Jay White was going to leave as soon as he did. I figured he would be there for a little while, until. But like I said, business is business, and so to have like a Dolph Ziggler in New Japan is like, okay, we got new life now because of the way the Japanese product is built. You know what I mean? You have things like Wrestling Toku coming up. You have the G1 Climax, where these are like tournaments, so you get these special matches without having to have a reason or build up to it. And like you said, it's a slow race to these opponents. So it's like you can take your time. You're not going to be like Edge and get all your stuff done in 6 months, and then now you have nothing else left to do. That
Like
wasn't
in
a shot at
TNA,
Adam. I like him.
No,
Yeah.
he would have had to been the world champion immediately. If not, it would be like, why was he here?
Well,
But
yeah,
in New
pretty
Japan,
much.
it's okay if he is the global champion. Even if he doesn't win,
Mhm.
the rematch or the climb towards it. And remember, we still got the never open weight championship.
Yeah.
We still got that as an option. That's a viable second option. But
There's plenty for him to do while he's there, so it won't get old early.
and remember, he
Brother
also
Hugh.
can take on New
Mhm.
Japan Strong. He
Yeah,
still can.
that's true. Stateside,
But
coming to California.
any guy who he's gonna say is great for business, he loves it. Is Zigzag. That's what it is.
That's
Have you seen his hair? Have you seen the white boots? Here, there you go.
that's
I got you here.
That's pretty much it. Thank you.
So, Brother Hugh, good for business, bad for business. I already got a idea of what you're saying, but tell us, are you prepared to see Dolph Ziggler wrestle in this style of matchup? Like we were in the group text the other day, and I was talking about, as much as I enjoyed Okada and Daniel Bryan too, like I cringe watching Daniel Bryan fight. Like he's out there fighting, like he's taking strong style to a different space. I don't think we've ever seen Dolph Ziggler in such a physical style on a regular basis, right? So it's like, are you prepared to see Dolph Ziggler wrestle such a violent style? Do you think he can keep up? That's a dumb question. I know he can't. Like I feel wrong even saying such a thing. But are you prepared to see him wrestle such a different style from what we used to?
That's what I'm excited about. Just to see him do something different in general. He's in a new place, new environment, new wrestling style. Like I just want to see what he can do. See if he's really as good as as I think he is, as I know he is. Um, Brandon pretty much said everything I was going to say as far as like just being in a new location and the dream matchups. I definitely want to see him and Naito. That's my man too. I love
Bro,
it. I love Naito.
he
If I could see that
talking
match,
about a
that's like a
heel.
dream match. Yes, I'm there for that match, 100%. But just the different matchups and just he has the freedom to move around throughout the wrestling industry. So that's why I didn't want him to go to like an AEW and be locked
Yeah.
down for a good amount of time. And plus, I was fearful that AEW wasn't going to use him the correct way anyway.
Sure.
So yeah, I think it's good for business that he moved elsewhere. He went to New Japan and he can still float around the industry and make his stops and cause trouble.
Yeah, I think we've been waiting for this moment. Dolph Ziggler's always been one of our favorites. We know he's your absolute favorite. And but one thing I am concerned about. Hey, first of all, him and Naito need to have a match because I have personal beef with Naito for what he did to the IWGP Intercontinental Championship when he was in Los Ignobles de Japón. He won the title and just like at the end of the matches, he would throw it up in the air and like beat the title. Like he would just destroy it. Like it took like Hiroshi Tanahashi had to beat him and literally did like a video of him restoring the belt. Like he really repainted the leather. He got like he reshined the plates and got new plates. I was like, yo, why did he do this to this title? I used to get pissed off about that. But Naito versus
y'all gonna
Zigzag.
ignore the fact his brother was there with him?
We'll see.
I mean,
First of
he's
all,
still under contract with AEW, so I mean,
I see. That's what I don't know because I'm like I know they did not sign Ryan Nemeth to a long-term contract.
And think about it, a lot of people when they get released from AEW, it's just, oh, I'm free. It's not an announcement. It's just I'm accepting bookings. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't work for AEW anymore.
Yeah, because he
You
was
know what I
never
mean?
really a big deal. He came out looking like Dolph Ziggler in 2011, and I like Ryan Nemeth. I think he's funny. Like I think he's of course, why not learn from your brother? But we'll see where it goes for him as well. So I guess we all agree that it is good for business that Dolph Ziggler is in the land of the rising sun. So his New Japan debut is January 23rd against David Finlay for the IWGP Global Championship. So
His
there's
contract
that.
is up in spring 2024. Spring
Oh,
24.
so
Oh, so
it's
this
coming up.
it's coming up.
Yeah,
So it's coming up.
He might
So
just be riding the wave.
might
yeah,
be.
and I do know that New Japan has a working relationship with AEW. So it's not like, well, when's the last time you seen Ryan Nemeth do anything anyway? So why not? But anyways,
AEW Dark is gone.
yeah, there you go. Like that,
Yeah.
the opportunity show is not there anymore. But like I said, we took our trip to Japan. We're going to get back on Wrestling Realm Championship Culture Airlines. We're going to fly back to the States. It's because before you know it, the Royal Rumble will be here. And there's a ton of things that's going on. One last thing about Dolph Ziggler. Here's what I'm looking forward to. I need to make sure he goes back to wearing his proper gear. I
Thank
need the
you.
white boots. I
Thank
need
you.
something that looks like Shawn Michaels pants. Like, don't be ashamed. Don't, because he was wearing like real shooter wrestling, but like literally like amateur wrestling boots and finger gloves, and I was like, bro, you're not even trying anymore. But I'm sure he was just passionless because of where he was at. But I'm hoping he goes back to being, zigzag that we know.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
Oh, God.
there you go. See, look at that.
I'm saying Nick
Brian is
Neiman sounds like a
trolling
villain.
Brother Hugh. You thought he was getting away with it? He said, not today, buddy.
He always gotta come in and try to start stuff. Go ahead. All right, that's cool.
There
I'll
you
deal with you
go.
later, brother. I'll deal with you later.
So we're in the space right now where we're in the Royal Rumble build-up mode, right?
Mhm.
We're in that part of the year where like we're not quite ready to talk about Royal Rumble predictions. We're not quite ready to talk about what's going on in the Royal Rumble. And ladies and gentlemen, we still have to get into TNA's belt reveals today. So stick with us. We're not quite into what's going to happen just next. But this is that awkward space where we kind of see the seeds being planted. And Triple H has got he's got full reign now, and he's got his crack at what's going on. And last year, I remember we saw something different with the Rumble. We noticed that the Rumble just wasn't a showcase event like it has been in the past. It's usually a showcase event, and then maybe one or two storylines are kind of furthered because of the event and what happens in it. But last year was completely different, and I'm seeing the same thing. So there's a few things we got to get into before the Rumble comes up. But first, let's talk about how great is R-Truth and the Judgment Day. You got to be kidding me. Please tell me y'all saw the video Monday Night Raw when R-Truth did that documentary piece.
Why look like something he did? Doesn't look like something
That's
he
why
would've
he's
put
laughing,
together.
though. That's exactly why he's laughing, because that's something he would have said, yo, you know what we should do? And that's what we would have saw.
The
Like-
fact that this is what I was talking about, what Triple H has figured out, the entertainment piece. I could show that clip to anybody that's not a wrestling fan. They're going to say, because a casual wrestling fan, oh, I used to watch wrestling back with the Junkyard Dog and Nature Boy, woo! They always say those type of tropes. But if you show them that, they're going to say, wait a minute, that's what they're doing to wrestle now? Let me go watch Monday Night Raw. That thing was... The fact that R-Truth could keep a straight face when he's doing this is comedy gold.
When he said Tom and Nick Mysterio, I was like, wait, what?
I said,
and I was like, yo, he's talking about Dominic Mysterio. He said, Tom and Nick Mysterio.
I don't know who this is.
I never met Nick. I said, yo, you have got to be kidding me. R-Truth was gone.
Remember, he did the same thing talking about John Cena, his hero, and he's older than John Cena.
Right.
Remember?
Like,
yeah.
You're older than me.
Mm-hmm.
But
like I had a dream of being in Judgment Day from a toddler. And he had the babies.
And he had the baby photo. He said, I remember when I told the doctor when I was born. You remember what you told the doctor, what you were. Give this man his flowers. He comes back from a broken leg, and he's doing more now than he was before when he left. And he was one of Vince's favorites. You know what I mean? But that comic relief is something that I'm like, man, he's humanizing the Judgment Day. You're right. It's that thing that you do in the middle before you get to the big finale. And I compare R-Truth to the same level as Sami Zayn. What Sami Zayn did to the Bloodline. Like, after a while, he helped further the story along and gave some depth to it. And it's like every week, R-Truth, you can't tell what's going on. Like, they have a hard time keeping straight faces when dealing with R-Truth. But I just had to bring that up because I'm like, this is too much. It's funny as heck. Like, and he's messing with JD McDonough's the X-Pac of the group. He's got to take all the bumps, take all the losses. And R-Truth is just trolling him the rest of the way. But I just had to get that out. I'm sorry.
No, that was a good segment.
Definitely was a good segment.
I feel like he's gonna have some type of like. Remember, guys, when he came to the Rumble and he pulled out the ladder and he was looking for the Money in the Bank briefcase. It's
Right.
just, I'm sorry, I'm an R-Truth guy. It is what it is. Crazy part is
The
I didn't like
fact that
R-Truth
he
when
got
got
that,
to WWE.
but did you see the follow up to it? The next day when they had pictures of him, he was like the Judgment Day eating lunch, and he was in the background just looking. I said,
Bruh.
"Oh my god, this man!"
That was
I
hilarious.
haven't even checked his TikTok lately because I knew it was gonna be some shenanigans on there.
That's why Kevin Dunn quit, because they had all these ideas. He's like, I'm not doing all that stuff. He's like, nope, you're gonna do it, and it's worked. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'll quit. But
They're like, you want me to do what? Okay,
yeah,
I can't just do my crazy camera cuts. All right,
no.
I'm gone.
Well, like I said, on our road to the Royal Rumble, there's been some homecomings, there's been some returns, there's been a lot of conversation going on, and one of those returns are the Authors of Pain, along with Paul Ellering, made their return to WWE on SmackDown. We haven't seen them in 4 years. They got cut during a pandemic when they were about to team up with Seth Rollins and Austin Theory. They got released, and they joined up with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Now, a lot of people feel some type of way about this, but here's what I took away from it, good brothers. Triple H is going back to get all his toys. He's like, everything that didn't go right, I'm going to make it right. I respect the heck out of Triple H for being that guy. Like, I really, really do. It's because, like, the Author of Pain, they really can't like wrestle. That's not what they're there for. They're there to be heaters. You know what I mean? Like, and they can carry a tag. Like, first of all, them versus DIY was insane. And when you can take guys and put them in the right situation, you can make money with them. That's what the spectacle is all about. It's not like it's impossible. Those guys didn't wrestle anywhere when they got released. They just hung out. Got the phone call.
And got
Paul Ellering, when they
tattoos.
moved him up the first time, they didn't want him to be the manager anymore. That's Vince, man. But now Triple H's writing is wrong. What do you guys think about AOP returning and joining with Karrion Kross? Somebody who can't really wrestle himself. I have high hopes for Karrion Kross. I love him to death. I love the character. But whew, man, does he not deliver when it counts?
I'm happy for it because I want to see. I want to see something new from Karrion Kross. I want to see what he can do. What's his range? Can he actually perform? Can he actually make an impact like he should, or like Vince thought he would before he turned him into a gladiator?
Yeah, he has the attitude to what you're saying, brother. Because I know what you're getting at, because I've seen it and I see why people love him so much. Because when you hear him talk about what he wants to do, how he wants to do, you're like, okay, so this guy knows. Like, he's not just floating. Like, he knows where he wants to go. But it's like, I don't know, is it the execution? But
he just doesn't deliver. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm happy though. As soon as I saw Paul come from behind him, I was like, oh boy, business is picked up. Let's go. Let's go.
It's NXT, man.
I'm not too keen on AOP, but it is what it is. It's good to see them back and have another tag team and that you can throw into the pot. And hopefully the tag team division will get a little bit more interesting, and we can maybe separate those belts or do something with those belts.
We're going to talk about that just next. That's why great minds think alike. That's why we're all brothers here, because we're definitely going to get into that. I know it's not in the thing, but we're going to discuss that because this is a championship culture edition. So how could we not talk about the tag team championships? But brother Brad, before we talk about that, what do you think about the AOP returning to join up with Karrion Kross and Scarlett?
Honestly, I think it's too early to tell because, like you said, I like Karrion Kross. I like the AOP. I like the fact how they were presented, and that's what made me like them. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, I thought it was like, you came up with the idea about in the share about being super and just big bad guys, right?
Sure. Yep.
If they're not that, this whole gimmick of them being the Authors of Pain, what is it going to do for Karrion Kross? That's what I'm waiting on. Okay, is he the focus or are they the focus? Who's the focus here? Because that's what I'm really.
You know the answer to that question. Why must you dance that way? You know that this is about Karrion Kross.
Because there's been a lot of things happening in the back. Remember, Scarlett was wrestling for a little bit, but now you got her and Ellering. Why do you need two managers?
Well, but look at it. Look at it this way. Scarlett is Karrion Kross's wife. She's his manager, and Paul Ellering is their manager. They just coming together for a business thing. Because don't get me wrong, you're right. I do see the two. Because Vince would have like, no, that's stupid. We're not doing that. You don't need both. And she's hot. Scarlett is hot. We don't need an old guy.
Needs more hair.
Needs more hair. But
which we need to talk about one day on Championship Culture. I'm so glad. Let me shut up.
See, there it is.
But the thing about that is this pairing is actually interesting because
it is.
I hope it's not falling into the AEW trope where nobody can be by themselves. And
Uh-oh.
is it too many factions down in WWE?
Okay, so let's talk about it. We talked about we have noticed that there's an influx of of tag teams, right? And we know that the tag team championships have not been officially merged. They purposely have said that currently the Judgment Day holds them, and Finn and Damian Priest, and they hold both titles. We've seen an influx of so many new tag teams, like blatant tag teams, like we're moving up. I can't even name all of them, but there's a handful on both shows now. Somebody tweeted out a list of all the tag teams that are on SmackDown, all the tag teams that are on Raw. Everybody doesn't need to be a tag team champion, but the important thing is the contenders. That's what makes it prestigious. Sometimes it's just the contention of it all. And we have Raw, we have SmackDown. Who do you guys feel like is probably going to be, if you had to split the titles today, Damian Priest and let's go storyline. Nick Aldis is going to demand for those tag titles back. Like, if you guys not going to show up, you got to defend them or you got to drop them. They show up, they got to defend them against somebody on SmackDown. Then they got to turn around and defend them the Raw tag titles on Monday. So Finn and Damian Priest show up SmackDown. Who is your number one contenders? Who do you want to see win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on Friday? And then turn around, who do you want to see win the Tag Team Championships on Monday? Who do you think it's like up next? Because on Monday it's kind of clear. SmackDown, I'm not so sure just yet, but I want to see what you brothers have to think about this. Let's see what you championship culture guys, what your championship brains are. Brother Brandon, you got that look on your face.
Because SmackDown has always been the land where the oddball tag teams work, and it furthers the storyline. We've always had on SmackDown, and I'm saying oddball in the lighter sense, where it's like, look at when the tag team championships were, those SmackDown ones were created. Heath Slater and Rhino, oddball tag team, and it worked. So they've recently introduced a tag team I thought I would never ever see, Tyler Bate and Butch. I'm like, I didn't know I needed this. I don't know if I want this. Yeah, I don't know if I want this. But then they even reference back their NXT history, NXT UK history. And I'm like, Triple H likes to not play on your intelligence and say, no, that really is, this is what happened. Vince McMahon would have been like, no, they never fought each other.
It never happened.
His name is now Taylor B. His name is now Mustache Jones for all damn wrestle. It would have been something crazy, because he heard he was called Mustache Mountain or something crazy. So I think that number one contenders are in a fatal four-way with the belt, with the champion, as in Pretty Deadly, the Hurt Business, Tyler Bate, and Butch. And Tyler Bate and Butch walk away with it. So now the Hurt Business and Pretty Deadly are seen as those contenders for the belt.
What about you, brother? What about you? First of all, I'm not calling them the Hurt Business. Those guys are clowns. That they should have brought back the Hurt Business. Even if Hurt Business was just a tag team between Shelton and, if it was just Shelton and Cedric, and they could have been the Hurt Business, I've been okay with that, because these guys, I ain't feeling this whole thing with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, but I'm not.
They got too much glitter. I can't think of it. It's too much glitter.
Bobby, this is not going to be our day. Like, okay, all right, come on, bro. Anyway, brother, who's your number one contenders on SmackDown if you have to separate the tag team titles today?
As much as I want to see the Street Profits do something with the belts.
No, you don't. Cut it out. Are you a Street Profits guy? Are you a Street Profits guy?
You can't do that.
No, I'm asking. I don't know.
Kind of.
Cut it out.
Okay. I didn't know.
I want to see them, do that thing, man. But like you said,
you sound so disappointed.
This whole Bobby stuff, I don't know. I'm not really buying it yet. Anyway,
no.
Like I don't know where it's going. It's just
they're getting cheered.
There. They changed their whole music and all that, and I'm just like, all right, cool. What's going on? But all right, I would say as far as on the SmackDown side, I'm gonna have to go Pretty Deadly, because
really,
yes, boys,
they're awesome. They're over like crazy.
You see the one that got like a lot of chest hair now. The one. I was like, yo, these guys are funny. They get it.
Yeah,
they get it. Man.
Yeah. They'll definitely put the belts over. Put the titles over on the SmackDown end of things. Even honestly, I like what's his name? I like Grayson Waller and Austin
Theory.
Yeah.
Oddball tag team again.
Yeah. They meshed well together. Then when you add Logan Paul with them,
they're vicious. Crazy. Oh my goodness.
You
talking
lost
about
me
a
when you
jerk
said
fest.
that, but I was gonna say that's the faction of jerks.
Yeah, we'll talk about Logan Paul a little bit because once again we have a United States Championship match at Royal Rumble, which we have to get into because this is the Championship Cultural Takeover edition. But yeah, so you're saying pretty deadly SmackDown. Brother Brandon, Belt King, you're saying I almost called him Mustache Mountain, but it's Butch, Pete Dunne, and
yeah.
Tyler Bate. New
I like them too, yeah.
new tag team. So what about on the other side, Monday Night Raw? I think
mean-
you guys are going to all see the same thing, and it's going to segue into my next comment. Let's see what happens. Brother
What you
Brandon, let's
think?
start with you.
Well, I don't know. I'm torn between the hottest thing, but then I'm like, is the wave over with them?
So who's the hottest thing right now as far as tag teams are concerned on Monday Night
The
Raw?
Creed brothers.
Yeah.
Really? You think so?
And I'm saying that because when the judgment they acknowledged them and said, "We can't, they're the real thing. We can't," for the champions
They
to
put 'em over.
acknowledge that.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, oh, it's more to it. But you
Sure.
still got DIY lurking in the background
Mhm.
because DIY with anybody is going to be that closing out the show, opening the show. That could
they're my
carry a
favorite.
Raw. Yeah, DIY would be the one that without a shadow of a doubt. You could put them as the marquee for the main event. You could put them on the pay-per-view for any part of it, and it's going to be a "this is awesome" type of
Mhm.
deal.
Yeah.
And then when you still got hurt tag teams, as in the New Day and Viking Raiders,
Your
who
vets
could come back when they come back when they need to come, when they get healthy.
and automatically
it's like,
contend.
and don't forget, we got Imperium off to the side that
Mhm.
Yeah.
if they get it and Gunther drops the Intercontinental, how much more of a storyline would that be?
Yeah. And that
Like,
would be
it's a lot of story there. But remember, I don't know if you watching NXT to see what they did with the tag team belts, Imperium.
Yes and no. Like it was vague.
Okay. Well, I would challenge, just go back and watch any of their title matches that they had, especially when they were like full on, when they were, don't laugh when I say this, when it was the fatter Imperium, because they weren't not in shape, but they're
They
lean
were not
and-
all beefcakes like they are
yeah,
now.
they
These
got
guys are all
12
jacked.
packs and stuff. Yeah, they were, and it's like holy. And Vinci, when he was oh god, what was his name before Vinci?
They changed
Before they
both their
changed their
names.
names. Yeah,
Yeah.
before they changed their name, and he was doing like moonsaults off the top rope. He was a high flyer and a ground and pound at the same time. So
Okay.
yes,
So my pick is obviously DIY. I think they would carry that with pride. And
Mhm.
shout out to my man Tommaso Ciampa that went back to his original gear instead
You
of
saw
winning.
that?
I feel like when I
I
saw
feel
it,
that was you were so happy, weren't you? He
when
was
I
like,
saw
yes,
it, I was like, okay.
yes,
I
yes.
said,
I can
okay.
see the way like this, like that little kid, the meme.
I was like,
Yes.
bro, I get it now. I said, you had to order your new gear in your DIY colors while you were wearing those phony zebra print leggings with knee pads. That's just like Kofi. I don't know why Kofi keeps wearing them
Basketball
alcohol shorts, them Value City basketball
The
shorts.
first week I said maybe his luggage got lost. And I was
That's
like,
what I
what's he
said. So his
wearing?
baggage
And then the
must have
second
got-
week I said, oh, this is
I
his
said he
thing.
must
Kofi,
got new gear
stop.
coming. He's got plenty. He should be wearing something. He's been wrestling for so much time. You should
When
have some
Kofi
wrestling gear.
stopped wearing them kick pants with his pants, and he was looking like he had on capris and shorts. And Jordans. I was like, stop it, Kofi, stop it.
Well,
Stop
I think I think it's another injury angle. They got him off TV, so he's like, no, I'm not buying new gear. I'm just gonna keep wearing these shorts and call it a day. But
And I'm gonna come back angry, Kofi.
I'm thinking when New Day kind of gets themselves together, they'll come back to a huge pop. But sometimes you got to go away and relax. And they're veterans, so like you said, they can come back at any point in time and be relevant. But I just want to get your 2 cents on that. That wasn't originally on the rundown. I cut it, but this is the Championship Culture Takeover edition, so it seemed appropriate. But speaking of championships, like I said, we have the United States Championship match between Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. First of all, the match on SmackDown between Kevin Owens and Santos Escobar was one of my favorites. We had a lot of good TV matches this week between Cody and Shinsuke, and then this one. I was like, man, this was really I enjoyed it a lot.
Said, put me in that conversation. He said, y'all gonna stop over, look at me.
Bro, I'm telling you, like and not to mention, you still got Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. And do you still got Joaquin Wilde and the other brother, the LWO, still in the mix? There's a lot of tag teams out there
flying around the ring. Did you see how they catapulted?
Oh, that was tough. That's once again, Kevin Dunn said, I'm not doing that stuff. And they said, Kevin, you gotta go.
But wait a minute, I said, why didn't you been doing that? That should have been a spot on SmackDown.
Kevin Dunn said, nope, the cameras don't go that high. It's not the cuts aren't fast enough.
But they caught
Listen,
it from.
all right,
Did you
Kevin, you
notice how
gotta
they
go,
caught it from
man.
the bottom angle to make it look like it was even further than what it was?
Right.
Yeah.
They said you gotta go, Kevin. But what do you guys think about this matchup? I think it's going to be huge for Kevin Owens because Logan Paul is a mega star. So for him to even be in this match is almost on the same level as being in a world title match as far as relevancy is concerned. What do you guys think about Logan Paul and Kevin Owens? You think that Logan Paul has a chance against a veteran like Kevin Owens in Royal Rumble for the United States Championship? I see a couple of United States champions behind you, brother Brandon, but I don't know. Is Logan Paul biting off more that he can chew with Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens has a broken hand, by the way, looking like Owen Hart out there.
I think Kevin looks good in defeat, and Kevin looks good in a win because
What are you saying? There you go again, dancing. See,
He always
is this
does.
what you have to deal
He
with
always
as a
does
third?
it.
You got to deal with this on a regular
All the
basis.
time.
He goes dancing. He did the
That's
same thing
it.
the last question. Like, brother, come on. Stop skipping and scapping.
no, I answered. I answered about the tag team. I gave you my
but
answer.
you danced first. You said, see, technically in a fatal four way, it's like now who do you see? Now you talking about something like he's gonna look good in wins and he's gonna look losses, but he's gonna
fault.
still
Is that a new
fly
shirt?
another day.
Is that a new shirt?
I don't know, is it?
Yeah, it
You
is.
see-
It
Oh
got
my
the
God.
gold,
Okay,
little gold
okay.
foil print.
You see how
Okay.
it's
My-
shattered?
my- Okay, I like
I
it. I like
only have one
I'm
championship
saying it
called
with my
shirt.
shirt.
I was about to say, dang, it's a shame we just wore championship called shirts, and I thought, man, they got multiples. They've got multiples. But what
my
do you
bad.
what do you
You
Kevin
guys?
like that gold, don't you? You like that gold, don't you?
Kevin Owens likes that gold.
He does.
There you go.
I
He
like-
picked
I
up the
like that. I
segue.
So what do you think? Kevin Owens, Logan Paul. Who comes out on top of the Royal Rumble?
I think we
Logan
gotta
Paul
wait
just
some
because. Oh my
Logan
bad.
Paul. No,
I
you
was
good.
gonna say Logan Paul just because you can you keep the title in the media. You keep it on social media. You keep it hot. You keep that exposure going. He's a part-time person, but it's like if you have him at Royal Rumble, it's a big deal.
Mhm.
You know, and have him with the title is an even bigger deal. And
Mhm.
it shines more spotlight on that U.S. title, which is pretty much out of the window right now. Like, I mean, there's nobody else better to put it on right now besides him to
Sure.
bring prestige and bring like just a spotlight to it, bring exposure to it. So keep it
Sure.
on until WrestleMania, the biggest stage.
Oh
of
yeah.
them all. So
Yeah.
just keep it pushing. I don't know who his opponent is going to be at WrestleMania, but hey, I say keep
You
it on
think
him.
you think we can, if it's good enough, we might get Kevin Owens, Logan Paul too?
Possibly.
Okay.
Why not? I like that. Why not?
What are you
But
thinking, brother
LA,
Brandon?
I think you got to keep it to Mania because that's going. You
Oh,
need
you talking
that
LA Knight? I just heard you.
because
yeah.
LA Knight,
Right.
LA Knight and Logan, because they got to have that battle on the microphone.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
he's been assaulted him, but he's got to have it. That's going to keep us LA Knight train for Mania, and who better to kick off night one or kick off night two than LA Knight and Logan Paul, and LA Knight get the belt, and now he's that person on SmackDown that we've been
He's a people's champion. He's that Diamond Dallas
Yeah.
Page.
right.
But
That's it right there. I think
But
we get that at Mania.
the crazy part is when you talk about Kevin Owens, say he looks good in wins, he looks good in losses. So does Logan Paul. Like if he loses, it doesn't hurt him. Like
It
you
doesn't.
gotta earn, you gotta be in wrestling for almost 15 years for that to be where you are, and he's there
Mhm.
already. First of all, he's a natural. I don't understand why he's so good. Like it's cheating because there's people that's a developmental that's been there 5, 6, 7. They can't figure out a character. Logan Paul just
You said
like
it's cheating.
It's just
he
gifted,
shows
bro.
up whenever he wants to, and he does a better job than half the people that's there anyway. It's weird. I don't know. This is naturally talented brother, but we have United States Championship coming up. I'm looking forward to the match. I think Kevin Owens. First of all, Kevin Owens. Yeah, you guys know how I feel about the Fat Man. It's my favorite. Great match. I hate, I got to do the realness gear talk. I hate when he's on SmackDown. He just wants to keep putting blue accents and everything. Like, bro, that's not you, bro. Like, leave it alone.
You didn't like the shorts?
He has. First of all, he hit the T-shirt is blue now. He didn't
Yeah.
need it. We know you on SmackDown. Just stay the same way. And then he's got like these blue accents in his boots behind his kick things. And I'm like, come on, bro. We know you on SmackDown.
I like that.
No,
I like
don't.
that though.
Because he did
You
the
don't
same
like
thing when he was United States champion. He was a heel, but then he had like red kick pad, a blue kick pad. And I'm like, Kevin Owens is not working. You try to piss people off, but it's like, no, you shaved his face. He had a naked face. I was mad.
Oh, that was bad. Almost as
yeah,
bad as Otis with the naked face.
Yeah, like come on, man. We don't need that from you. But
Right.
but
That's
yeah,
not our Kevin Owens.
speaking of championships, the Royal Rumble is all about the big prize, the top prize. Now, this is a conversation we're going to have later down the line because it's still a little bit too early. But trust me, we're going to have this conversation. But goodness gracious, I've never seen a day. And remind me, if I'm missing something, where I'm seeing so many potential contenders come out the woodwork saying, "No, I'm going to win the WWE Championship," and I'm like, he could. Then somebody else goes, "No, I have intentions to win a WWE Championship," and I go, "Oh shoot, he might too." And then somebody else comes and goes, "I'm planning on winning the World Heavyweight Championship." I'm like, "Well, dang it, that makes sense also." And I'm just like, "Wait a minute." And two individuals most recently had a crazy exchange where somebody had to get some stuff off his chest. And I'm referring to Drew McIntyre. He had to clear the air with CM Punk. And they both kind of went into their Royal Rumble intentions, and they both were kind of saying the same thing. They both want Seth Rollins. They want that World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, for goodness sake, we now have a fatal four-way for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. So it's like we may find ourselves on that same side for Monday Night Raw in the World Heavyweight Championship. But Drew McIntyre, man, he came out with guns blazing. And guess what? He got confronted about CM Punk. Let me ask you, did you guys enjoy the exchange and the promo between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk? Because obviously it had a little bit of realism to it. It was a bit of a history lesson, and it was very, very authentic. And this is the matchup that I didn't know that I needed, but I'm like, I'm here for it. What do you guys think about Drew McIntyre kind of, going at CM Punk and, kind of clearing his chest about how he felt about the brother?
Like you said, I liked it because it was genuine. You can feel the passion, you can feel the realism in it. Man, when do we get this match? That's my question. Like, I know we're not going to get it at Rumble. We might not get it at Elimination Chamber. Is this something that you hold on to until a little bit later after WrestleMania?
I think it's something that you kind of play off of. You know what I mean? Like you kind of plant the seeds of the Rumble. You know what I mean? And then somebody got to come back with a receipt.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this feud down the line for sure.
It's something I didn't know I needed, but I was like, ooh, this is going to work though, because I mean, Drew McIntyre said what he said, and then CM Punk, he said what he said, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, this might get a little bit explosive. CM Punk said, "I'm gonna be the bigger man and leave, because if not, I might kick your teeth in," and I was like, uh-oh. And Drew McIntyre, crazy behind that Scottish psychopath, he thought it was funny. And I was like, yo, you guys might have big laughing that hard. It ain't funny.
Nah, it's not funny.
But what do you think, brother Brandon? Drew McIntyre, he made it very clear. I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm going to main event WrestleMania. He said something that you haven't done. And he's going to beat Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk said, I don't care if it's you. I don't care if it's Cody. Ain't nobody finishing no story but me. I'm main event against Seth Rollins, and I'm going to win. And then he had the nerve to say, guess what? At the Rumble, if I see you, I'm going to throw you out last. I said, okay. All right. Now y'all ready to fight now.
Yeah.
What do you think of the exchange?
So you got to go back to the comment that you said. This is the first time we've actually got a healthy problem. Like, yeah, that might happen. Oh, that might happen too.
Triple H does.
Oh, and yeah. And you see, I keep saying, I didn't know I needed this. I didn't know I wanted this. He keeps throwing these things at us. And if it comes down to them two wrestling, I want to see it, because I didn't get to see the match with Punk and Dominic Mysterio, but it got good reviews.
Sure.
I know what Drew can do, and I'm just saying, I think it'll be a nice battle. I think it'll be a good battle, but it's one of those things that's SummerSlam worthy, not this time worthy.
Yeah.
I think it can hold on to SummerSlam.
That long.
I think they're going to keep crossing paths, kind of like how Jay and keep crossing. Jay and Drew keep crossing paths. Yeah, we have one thing, but they can always come back to it. It can always come back. Like he said his piece, and I love the fact we have things grounded in reality, because it feeds into it. It feels like it's more believable now. Whether they really don't like each other or not, but because they said something, we all know, oh, that's got some facts behind it. Oh, that might have some, because of their reaction. And it's like, you can tell, yeah, I want to get off my chest, but I'm still going to say, we got to go out here and make this money one way or the other. Yeah. So I thought it was a great exchange. I like the fact of how they were playing the promo, and Drew said, no, cut that. Let me tell you. So I was like, oh, this is different. This is different.
Man,
it's playing into one big story, but everybody got Everybody got their own little thread lines for everything.
No, it makes sense. And like I said, it goes back to, it reminds me of tonight, the championship culture. One of the taglines is everybody has a story. And that's what we're looking at when it comes to the product. We're like, yo, every notch, everything is done for a reason. It's not just for the sake of putting on a show, but every feud, every interview, everything that happened, it definitely has a true story behind it. But there was a recent story because we're almost close to the main event of the show. We're going to review the new TNA Championships that were revealed today. Last of the male titles were revealed today. We started the Knockouts World Title and Knockouts Tag Titles, and we're almost there. We're about to wrap up soon. But one more thing, somebody caught us straight this week, man. And like I said, by this being the Championship Culture edition of tonight's show, is there was last week a former WWE champion returned, and we were all excited to see The Rock. But guess what? We got two for the price of one. Jinder Mahal, you know,
Who is it?
was
Who is it?
Oh,
Don't-
you
don't
knew the
disrespect.
modern day
No.
Maharaja.
That's not
That's what I was waiting for to say it.
We're not
I was
going
waiting for to say it.
Yeah.
No, I wanted him to say it. He gonna say
Former WWE champion, modern
The
day
modern day.
Maharaja, Jinder Mahal.
there you
Man,
go.
I was
There you
excited
go.
to see him back. I told you before, he's one of my favorites. I always get a kick out of Jinder Mahal. And he's a Randy Orton guy. Randy Orton was his OG. Randy Orton put him over first, right? And it was a great twist. First of all, he's an excellent performer. He's in excellent shape. I don't care what anybody says. He's a good bad guy. Like, he's never a guy that you want to see be a good guy. He's a great bad guy. He plays his role very well.
Mhm.
But he recently called us straight, man. We had a situation where apparently Tony Khan from AEW, if you guys don't know who TK is, Tony Khan is the owner of AEW. He had a few
Your best
choice
friend.
words
He's
when
the
he
real
found
best
out.
friend.
Brother Twitter
Yeah, I
finger.
mean, this is my good friend Tony. I was kind of shocked, but Tony Khan made some comments when he saw Jinder Mahal kind of confront Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins being a babyface champion, accept his challenge, and now he has a world heavyweight championship. This is one of the reasons why I always say, and I've said this before, this is why it's good to have former world champions in the mix. When you have a world heavyweight champion, you need contenders, and it can't always be one of those feuds that last you forever because of the way we consume wrestling. You can do that back in the 80s because there was no cable television, or the way that we saw the product. It wasn't a weekly episodic show. You could run the same feud for almost 2-3 years in a row in different cities, right? And it never switched. And so I don't mind when the contenders pop up left and right and they do these things. So Jinder Mahal, but apparently this is what Tony Khan had to say. He said a double standard. He said 730 Hook, which is my man Hook. He's a 28-1 career record on winning streaks, calls out the champ, a logical challenge, sparks online outrage, excuse me. Jinder Mahal has lost every single match he's in for the past year, immediately gets title shot. Where's the rage? AEW Dynamite, hashtag AEW Dynamite tomorrow on TBS. This is clearly Monday. Clearly Tony's watching Monday Night Raw. And he sees this. First of all, leave my man Hook out of this. My man Hook is a gangster. He had nothing to do with this. I'm happy for him. He's got a world title shot against Samoa Joe next week. I'm
Right.
looking forward to that. There's no Hook hate around here. We're not doing that.
Nah,
But Tony Khan is a bit under fire because a lot of people feel like that you took a personal attack at a performer, and naturally you're supposed to defend your company, but you're defending your company against the fans through social media, and it has nothing to do with the talent that you kind of attacked. So now you're trying to downplay Jinder Mahal's WWE World Heavyweight Championship title shot against Seth Rollins, and not to mention these guys have history because Jinder Mahal was in the first NXT Championship match, crowning match with Seth Rollins, and when NXT was like full-time NXT, like, okay, we transitioned out of FCW, we're here now, this is what we do. And he was handpicked. Him and Seth were the two guys at the time. They felt like, okay, these guys are going to be in it. And Jinder Mahal like almost got started. He came in same way, rich Indian brother. He was the brother-in-law to Great Khali. He married his sister, and same thing. He was rich, and then he got started, and he fizzled out. 3MB released years later, comes back WWE champion. So now there's a bit of history right there. There's a bit of history of Jinder Mahal getting disrespected, and now he's like, I'm coming, and I have receipts. I'm tired of being disrespected. Now I'm going to do what I want to do, whatever the case may be. Why did Tony Khan feel it was necessary to go at Jinder Mahal? You guys think this is funny? That's not okay. It's not okay. You guys are snickering.
It's because you know why? When I first saw this, The funniest thing is what Jinder's response was, "Who's Hook?" That was the that I don't know
No,
why that was like
see,
the
my man had
but
nothing to do
all
with
the
this. That's why I don't
but
think that
all
was
the
cool.
wrestlers started chiming in and having fun with it. But a millionaire was so angry at the things
I
that
think
certain
he's a
people
billionaire.
said. Billionaire, I'm sorry, he probably is. I stand corrected. A billionaire had time on his phone to put out there like, "Oh, y'all want to criticize me when this like, sir, like,
He was watching Raw.
really?" I'm like, okay, so you had let me not go down this rabbit hole. Put it like this: he's talking about people calling him out, but then like you're trying to justify people's feelings and their opinions. Like, does it make sense that Hook is getting a title shot? One side of the coin may say yes, the other side may say no.
It makes
The
sense to
fact
me.
is,
God dang it.
yeah, but I'm saying, but the thing is, worry about your product. Like you really say, okay, people outlashed and bashed it. Give us something to say. Well, you know what? Oh, good booking. You know, and like put that should have been the fuel for you to say, let me show them I'm gonna believe in this product because I got this. This is my company. These are my rosters. These are my storylines. Let me show them. But instead, you went after something that so you ain't got nothing better to do. Like you really don't have nothing better to do. You that time you took the tweet and defend yourself, and then you saw Eric Bischoff chimed in. So many people was chiming in. I'm like, this man is really like even the whole thing about what's her name, Abaddon, how they came back and then got the title shot. Then he defended that. I'm like, come on, man, it's entertainment. Like you are a billionaire. Come on now. And when Jinder said, "Who is Hook?" That thing, I don't know why. I was like, "That's it. That's the nail in the coffin right there." Because for Jinder to say that, that was like, why are we even having this argument? And I'm telling you that. But did Taz say anything? Did Hook say anything?
He did. They both did.
Or
They did. Okay.
So
I didn't see
Taz
it in
responded
the
like
threads.
he responded to like Hook, like he put it in capital letters. He's like, what the is Hook? And he put it in capital letters like, nah, Hook, HOOK. And then
Okay.
I think Hook responded, said, well, who the F is Jinder Mahal? And then I think he deleted it because Hook doesn't tweet. Like he has an account, but it's not a
don't
lot
even
on there.
talk,
He
really.
doesn't say too much. But like
He
I
said
said,
like 6 words.
my man caught us straight. My man Hook had nothing to do with this. He should have been left alone. That's my these are both my guys. So I was like, look, man, we're gonna go to dinner. We're gonna talk about this. That's between Tony and the fans. Y'all should have been brought into this. What'd you think, brother, when you saw Tony come? Billionaire Tony, my good friend Tony, kind of take a personal shot at a performer when he's frustrated clearly with the way the fans are responding to how he's booking the shows versus, hey, we haven't seen Jinder Mahal. He comes back and all of a sudden he gets a title shot.
Man, I think he's being a gump like he always is. Like that's stupid to me. Like why? That's it. Why? Like just do better. Just do better. Just book better. Worry about your product. Why you keep worrying about WWE? You're not on the same plane as him right now. Like you probably will never be there because you're so focused on them. You can't even focus on your own product. So,
ouch.
Why? Mind your business.
Yeah,
that was a lot of
people. A lot of people were upset about it. AEW Dynamite, the follow up, they're like, "This for you to do all that, and then that was the show you gave us."
Facts.
A lot of people were disappointed. A lot of people said it was boring. They were disappointed. Like they were expecting some type of something heavy, but then it was just kind of like one of those filler episodes that we do sometimes.
It was back at Daly's place. The crowd was hot, and it didn't. You put all your women in one match.
A lot of people feel like it didn't deliver.
All of the women.
I'm just glad Triple H don't do any childish stuff like that. He doesn't feed into that foolishness.
Are you sure?
Well,
we did have NXT WrestleMania.
He does troll. Let me correct myself. He does troll, but he does it in a different way.
We like NXT WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He definitely brought out John Cena and The Undertaker for an NXT show. Like,
no, that was NXT WrestleMania. Definitely. He said, "Okay, Tony, watch this. I'm in full creative control. Watch what I do. Hey,
make this call.
What you doing on Tuesday? Cody, get your bus down to Florida. I'm gonna need you in Florida, okay? We got this show coming up, and I'm gonna need you."
And Triple H cheats though because he knows there's certain older guys that love working with young talent. John Cena always loved working with young talent.
That is true.
And then Undertaker always loves working with young talent. You know what I mean? Especially
Mhm.
ones that listen. So he cheated, but
He did.
I don't know. I thought a lot of people were up in arms about it. You know, some people love Jinder Mahal. Some people think he was one of the weaker WWE champions. I was a fan of him because
I
in my
love it.
mind, he was one of the few guys that actually created a new character. You know,
Fact.
because we
Out
had the
of
same
nowhere too.
we had the same players for such a long time. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it was like Jinder came back. First of all, he was Rusev's lackey, but he came back looking really, really good. Like he was jacked. He had the size, he had the look, and I was like, they were like, dude, this guy could be an old school bad guy, and he was. You know, he was one of to me one of AJ Styles' greatest opponents during that 16 era. But yeah, that's enough of WWE.
Jinder.
We're going to get into the main event of tonight's show. We're wrapping up, but this is what we came here for. This is the lifeblood of what we originally intended to do when we said we're having a championship culture takeover edition. Recently, Impact Wrestling transitioned back to what we know as TNA Wrestling, embracing their history.
TNA. Sorry.
We're talking to one of the original TNA guys was Brandon Guy. He tried to justify a lot of that stuff back in the day. We were like, brother Guy, I know you don't like WWE right now, but don't force yourself into this. But he really did love the product. And look, he's embarrassed. He's embarrassed to admit because there was a lot of stuff. He was like, a lot of stuff was I can appreciate now, but a lot of stuff wasn't all that great back then. But it had its place. Brother Guy was a TNA loyalist until he just couldn't be loyal to it anymore. But guess what? TNA's turn, of course, under Anthem Sports and run by Scott D'Amore. So he's a TNA original.
Mhm.
And they made it very clear. I don't know what show it was, but we were a couple weeks back. We kept saying, "Oh, they're going to reveal new belts. We can't wait." And we got at least 4 of them as this recording. We got the TNA Tag title, the Digital Media title, the X Division title, and the TNA World title. Gentlemen, championship culture guys, you guys are belt kings. What were your guys' first impressions? What were you guys thinking and feeling this week as we kind of went into this belt reveal as we enter to the next era of TNA wrestling?
I just thought, look, we got a lot of content for championship culture. That's what I thought.
You look at him, super producer, always working. He just can't stop and smell the roses for once, can he?
That's the first thing I thought. These belts, they're fire. That's all I can say. He didn't miss yet. And this
No.
is Hellfire Designs. You didn't
Yeah,
miss
Hellfire
yet.
Designs were the ones that came up with the designs for these championships. I was blown away by it. I haven't heard anything negative about it. They're very unique. They look like fresh silhouettes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't look like anything we've seen before, unless there's some really obscure looking titles that they found a way to bring to life. But
They look important. They make you feel. It gives you that prestigious feel right off top.
Mhm.
I've never looked at Impact or TNA titles. Like they were something that they were worth anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest,
Yeah.
because I was a TNA guy. So I mean,
Mhm.
now seeing them compared to the older styles, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like
This
the
is
ones
a
behind
different-
Brandon.
This is the
Brandon.
big, like the one right behind Brandon.
Yep. Yep. Way to go.
But yeah,
On the
it's a
record, I prefer the red ones.
big upgrade for sure. And I'm
Bell
with you.
King.
I do like the red ones better too.
I just the reds always look good to me. It always popped to me.
Yeah.
All right, brother Brandon, this is your time to shine. Everybody,
Get it?
have a seat, grab your popcorn, put your seatbelt on. Because after you're finished saying what you have to say about your initial impressions of the new TNA world, the new TNA championships, new championship belts, we're going to get into each one that we've seen. We got one. This is what you guys do best. You break it down. You talk about the inspirations, what you see of it, what you'd hope for it, and before you know it, we'll be out of here. So, Belt King, the guy, Belt Man. What do you think about TNA's new championship belts that have debuted?
So
That's a smile on your face. You don't smile about a lot of
yes.
stuff. This is the happiest I've ever seen you when it comes to wrestling. Because for years I've known you for almost a decade plus now. And wrestling hasn't always made you happy. And so it's good to see you happy in this space right now. Don't try to cover it up. It's okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this so we can get into each one in detail.
Mhm.
These are the best looking titles I have seen. And I'm almost there to say period. 4 for 4 in everything about them. It's so unique. It's so different. And when we break down each one, these are probably the best designs that TNA has had. And they have had some great looking belts. Like, But these designs, hands down, the first four that they revealed. Now, granted, the digital media, it's like that's the ugly duckling out the group. But if we start with that one, you understand why I'm saying that. But when you look at each one, they just have that appeal. That, oh wow, what's that? I need to go watch them. So I think they captured the essence. And the thing I love about all three of them,
Mhm.
you ain't denying what company it is. You ain't hiding it. It says TNA, and all of TNA and Impact belts always have been front and center with the uniqueness, except for I think Dwayne's favorite belt. It was above the center. World was in the middle, and above it was
Yeah.
TNA.
It
But I
was
think
more
every other one,
classic look
yeah.
for
But
that
every
era.
other one has always had that pow. You gonna look right at it and see the TNA logo, the TNA branding, and I'm glad they stuck with red. So
Okay. So let's just get first of all, let's get you a oh yeah from Macho Man.
Oh, yeah!
You deserve that. So let's just get right into it, brothers. Where do you want to start? What's the first one you want to get into? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, we are about to break down the TNA Championship belt reveal. So if you want to take a look at what we're talking about, head over to youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm. And are we putting this in the Championship Culture playlist? Is this going over there too? Can you double it up?
We'll make it happen.
Okay, we'll make it happen. So just head to the channel and we'll figure. You'll be able to see the show regardless. But so what championship do you guys want to get into first, brother Brandon, brother Hugh?
digital media. Let's go with
All right,
that
let's
one.
go
Get
there
that out
first.
the way.
So there it is. First of all, shout out to brother Hugh the graphics. This is what I'm told you. I'm not doing them anymore. I don't mean to keep making you do them. Like, bro, I don't mean to keep like, yo, can you do one? But it's not gonna look nothing like this. This is amazing. So here we are. We have the TNA Digital Media Championship. I know we were talking earlier, and I kept saying I've never been a fan of the concept of the Digital Media Championship, but I understand it, right? It's because it's a play on the TV title. Because we grew up, we had a TV title, we had one in WCW, we had one in the NWA, and various promotions around the world. This is your television
TNA had a
championship. But
television championship too.
you said who?
TNA had a television champion. Remember?
That
They
is
branded the
true.
belt.
For a cup of coffee, it's same belt. And 3, 4, 5 times anyway. But but now we consume our wrestling in the digital media space, so it makes sense. Like I said, wasn't always my favorite concept of a title, but when I look at this, I'm like, wow, this thing's a beauty, and it makes sense. So, championship culture, take it over. This is when you guys do what you do.
So I'm gonna say this about the belt. It definitely, in this small iteration, it looks like an upgraded version of the original. So this V2 from the Impact Digital Media Championship to the TNA Digital Media, it has so many similarities. It has a modern feel. It is actually in line with what these belts are doing. And if you look at it, it looks like it actually is the other belt. It doesn't. You know how we had the Intercontinental title, which was a smaller version of the world title. Then we had the European title, which was the other belt, but it wasn't in the style of the other ones because the main plate was a little shaped differently, but you knew it was a difference between Intercontinental and European. Looking at this one in the X Division and this, you can tell they're two different class styles, different sets of wrestlers will contend for this belt. And I don't know if they're still doing it. Remember, women were supposed to be able to be contenders for this belt because the first champion was Jordan Grace.
Yep.
And when you look at it, it's just enough red in it. I love belts that look like the side plates were broken off from the main plate. And this definitely has elements of that. And
Like
it just
Battle
makes the
Dome.
belt look clean. Yes. And how the knockouts belt looked like it was one plate that they just cut and spread it all the way out. So this belt to me, perfectly done with only knowing what the one prior to it looked like. So it's like a modern feel on it.
Yeah. Dual
What are you
plated.
thinking, brother Hugh?
Yeah, I love the dual plating to it.
Yeah,
I bet you do.
The-
I bet you do.
And this is the one time I'm with you, brother. Usually I'm not a dual plate kind of guy, but I feel like with this digital like motherboard computer graphic design, it makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense. That older one, you know what?
I'm trying to find it. Where is it?
Now that I'm looking at it, it kind of is shaped like the Batman logo, the main plate.
That also might be the reason why I'm feeling it. Like I'm biased. That was my first word as a child. Like my first word was Batman, and I'm like, I feel like if Batman had to carry something, to represent him champion, this championship reign. It might look like this.
It looks like that, man. But they kept the red stones, which I love. This is one of the I don't know about the women's belt. I don't think they have stones on the other belts. So the one thing I can appreciate, they kept the stones and they kept the original feel of the belt. So
yeah, as far as the shape silhouette.
Right.
So I like it. Out of 10, this is a 9.9 out of 10.
Oh, okay. It's high praise.
I would say I don't
ahead,
like
the
total nonstop action on top of it. Written out. I don't like that.
Sure. Because that's on all of them.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like. Maybe if it was in a different font or something, but I feel like it just takes away from the belt a little bit. But other than that, everything else is perfect.
Yeah, the font is probably if I had to take away from anything, that was the one thing I was like, why is this big yellow font? Like it was on every belt, so we were gonna look at it. But hold on, brother Brad, you want to show us something real quick as far as the
original?
Here's what's throwing me off. This is weird. I blame the cameras. It's because I never liked that title at first. Is because of how small it looks on TV. Yeah. But then I saw that brother Brandon's house. And the thing is actually his championship is massive, and I was like, why does this look smaller on TV? And I was like, I actually like it when it's that size. But yeah, so look at it. It's a similar shape. It's like we have a kind of a digital upgrade version of that, right?
Still look like it's broken from the center. If you look at the sides, it looked like it was one main piece and it's been broken off in the smaller parts of it. So they kept a lot of the similarities, especially when it comes to the border of it, the gold. Yeah. And then before you get to the dual plated aspect, it looked like it has rivets around the gold border all the way around. And the thing that I appreciate as a belt guy, the strap follows the plates.
Sure.
It's not just like one or circle. It's actually cut to the size of the plates. And it's hard to get that with a lot of belts.
Yeah, that's dope.
So I think that is actually a great attention to detail. And I'm just wondering, does the amount of stones have some reference to something? Because, I'm always looking at belts, okay, how many stones? What are they for? What's this for? But I think it's perfect.
I'm curious to see how belt creators can kind of replicate this. You know what I mean? I think it's one of the reasons why they kind of going with these kind of unique silhouettes. So,
so
I
it's hard to replicate.
Yeah.
I did say something about the font above before, but now as I look at it, I would say it makes sense on this belt.
There you go.
And that it's the digital media title. That font gives you like a techie type feel to it.
Yep, like a motherboard computer type.
Yeah, that makes sense with this title. But yeah, overall, I love it. I love it.
All right, so with that being said, what's the next title you guys want to get into? TNA's new championship belts they have kind of revealed. Which one you guys want to?
Let's do the tag next.
Because
I want to save a certain one for the end. I want to save a certain one for the end.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
They look even better up close. Like this is ridiculous. Look at that. These things. And the crazy part is, I'm seeing inspiration. Like even when you look at the top where it says World Tag Team Championship, it reminds me of like the old 6-man titles. You know what I mean? The silhouette that I'm kind of referring to is the same one that used to be the Ring of Honor World Title, which would eventually be the same silhouette for the Impact World Tag Team titles. Like back in the day, that there's a 6-man title, and there's a couple of them that have that kind of 3-stacked like World Tag Team on the side of the top. But these things
ROH original 6-man that they had for like 3 minutes.
There you go.
That one.
Yeah. Like these things look really good though. So I'm seeing this is what championship culture does every week. When you're talking about the cut of the actual strap to the plate, like I'm noticing it that much more, especially now that I'm looking at the World Tag Team. But let's get into this, brother Brandon. What are your thoughts and your takeaways from the new TNA World Tag Team Championships? Of course, on a red strap. I have a tag team championship on a red strap.
I know, isn't that crazy? A red strap just does something different to a belt. And with this one, I think the TNA logo, I'm feeling like they did everything on purpose. That is just enough yellow to not be distracting, but enough to be enhanced.
Sure.
And the fact that on this belt, I don't know if you could tell, the thing that got me the most with this belt is the details in the side plate. It looks like 2 different side plates were merged together, and it was merged right where the globe is. It
Mhm.
looked like two different designs, and they said, okay, let's do something different to the point that you're like, holy crap, look at this belt. So you really don't get to see the details until you really start staring at it and looking at it, because everything about it looks like it's on purpose. If you notice, the globe behind the TNA is on all of them,
Mhm.
but that pattern, I don't know what it's called under championship. And to be honest with you, I have no idea what that is called. But they kind of have a smaller one behind the world. It's so many
Yeah.
different types of pattern. It's hard to tell like what was the inspiration. And one thing you can't see in the picture is the Anthem logo is on the side of each one.
Yes,
Yeah.
on the
And
belt straps, right?
yeah,
The property
and
logo. Yeah.
also, yeah, they have behind it on each side plate, they have a banner behind World.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like if you look at the side plate, that red thing behind the globe is a banner, but
Mhm.
also there's a
Oh, yeah, I
bigger
do see
banner
it.
in red behind TNA, which gotta have some significance, or it may be just because of the design to bring more attention to the center plate or to add some more color to it. Because I
Mhm.
feel like the emphasis isn't really on tag team; it's drawing you to actual TNA, and it makes
Sure.
it feel like it's. I always said this: your tag team champion should be technically two world champions because they are the highest in that division. And when you
Mhm.
look at this belt, it makes you say, "Yep, they're the it factor. They are the most important people with those belts." So if I'm in a singles match as a tag team, or I'm in a singles match as the tag team champions, I feel like I'm the most important person. Watch me. I'm the one that's at the top of my game. So, yep,
Brother, you
that's my.
Yeah.
brother, you have anything else to say about the TNA
He hit
World
it.
Tag Title?
He hit it spot on. Spot on. But
Mhm.
one thing I did notice with the
Yeah.
banners, especially the one at the top, when I
Mhm.
first saw that, I thought about the WCW titles, tag titles.
Okay. Yeah.
If you look at it, it's a
Yeah.
similar banner. It's not. It's a little bit shorter, but I see that. I feel like they got their inspiration from the WCW title with that. But everything else is spot on, like Brandon said, with the banner, the red banner backing, behind the world and the TNA. Perfect. The red strap. You already know how I feel about the red straps.
Oh yeah, you already know.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And
Yeah.
this was the first one to be revealed. That was
Yeah.
a bold statement to come out with this one first. I'm
Nah,
sorry,
it
no,
definitely
the X
was though.
Division. I'm sorry, the X Division
No.
was first. I'm sorry,
Nah,
but
they
to have
definitely
this on
made
a red strip,
Notice there's
they
no gold
definitely
on
made their statement though.
nickel plate.
You didn't know? Yes, indeed. So we've gotten to the digital media championship. We've gotten to the TNA Tag Team Championship. Gentlemen, what's next?
which one is next? Hugh? You know me well enough. Let's see how well you know me.
Well, let's go with the X division.
Oh, you don't know me well. I
I
was
knew
gonna
he was
say
gonna
that
be
one for last.
disappointed. I knew
No.
So we jumped into the X division. I mean, it makes sense. The
No,
world title is the
Let's
world
go X
title,
division.
right?
Yeah. You
Okay,
guys
so let's
pick.
just jump
Oh,
into it.
you don't want to save the X Division for last. Oh,
It's too
okay.
late.
No, well, we can do it last. You want to do it last? Let's go to the
Yeah,
big
because
big
I
gold.
got something to say about that one.
Let's
Okay,
go
so let's hold
big
off for that.
bold
We'll
and
do
gold. Big bold and gold. There we go.
that
Big,
thing. That
bold, and
thing.
gold.
That thing looks. And
Mm.
it's. I was looking at it first, and I was taken aback by it. And I was like, "What is it about this?" And it's once again, it's the way the strap meets the plates and the
Yep.
shape of the silhouette. And I was like, "Man, I'm digging this. This is actually." And then when you see the whole belt and see how big it is over your shoulder, I'm like, "Man, this is really really
Yeah.
nice. Like this is this is the probably some of the most unique looking designs we've had in a long time." AEW has done a really good job as well, but they still have some. I call them tribute silhouettes with stuff like, "Oh, okay, that reminds me of this." But these are just all new, brand new looking designs. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm taken aback by it though. But brother Brandon, brother Hugh, the new TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Goodness gracious! And the crazy part, it just says World Champion. It doesn't say World Heavyweight Champion because
Right.
Alex Shelley is not a heavyweight, but it says World Champion. So TNA crossed
Go
the
ahead, Hugh. You
line.
go first, Hugh. I want
I,
because I
I
go
was
ahead,
going.
Hugh. You go first.
I was going to say that inner side plates is a mirror of the main plate. That's what I like.
It's
As
crazy,
far as
ain't it?
shape, pretty much a complete duplicate of the main plate. I'm also looking at the banner.
Mhm.
If you see the black in the background, that's like it looks like a ripped banner type of effect to it.
Sure.
Kind of like that. I'm looking at it from different ends. Of course, the red globe. Also, I noticed like there's like little hexagons. You can't really see it on this picture, but there's
Mhm.
like little hexagons. If you think about it, Impact is known for what? The six-sided ring,
Yeah,
right?
excited still. Yeah,
So I don't know if that was intentional, but
sure.
that's one of the things that I noticed before. And like Brandon said, there's no stones in it, but it looks like it has stones in it. Just from the type of design that's actually the detail to the type of designs that are actually put into the main plate. It looks like it actually has stones on it, but it doesn't.
Brother Brandon would have put a stone at the top. He would have put one at
He
the
definitely
bottom,
would.
whether it's rubies or diamonds.
A nice big red one. You know?
Yep. What do
You
you
don't know
think
my
about
life.
Brent? The new TNA World Heavyweight Champ. I keep saying World Championship.
So I'm gonna say this: I appreciate the paint because I feel like the paint was just enough and it was done on purpose. Because sometimes when it comes to belt, it can be
Mhm.
overly painted and not done very tasteful. And I think the ROH belt did that very well. Remember how the Cody belt, it was just black and red,
What you
but the
call it?
red
The
was in the
Cody belt.
He
because
doesn't
I know
say
it
go-
gets you. But if you think about it, this gives you that feel of who is that and why is this important? It's gonna open the door for imagine imagine somebody with this belt showing up and you have a casual wrestling fan there. They're gonna say, well, what's this company do? Why is that? Why does this look more important than the WWE Championship? That's just a logo. Why do I want that belt more? You know what I mean? It's kind of I want to say the details in it make you keep wanting to look at it. You look at the WWE Championship, and I'm just talking about the network logo, not the world title. You're like, okay,
That's
I've
what's
seen the
happening to me
detail.
right now. I just keep looking at it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to make you look at it, and now you're going to say, well, I wonder what they're going to do with it because you got to deliver. When you have like he was saying with the banner at the top, it looks like it's like a confetti type of thing next to world with the black.
Black outlining, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's
Black.
part of the banner, but it also looks like it's a starburst above the world, or like some kind of like rays coming out of it at the top.
Sun, yeah,
The
sun ray.
yeah, the side plates. Oh my gosh, the side plates look like if you just made them bigger, they could be the center plate. Like those side plates look like they should be the main plate. And the anthem
That's what
banner
Brother Hugh
is
was
so
saying.
large. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's so large on this one. The other ones fit in with the shape. This one is a six plate. This is a six plate belt, which is awkward because of the simple fact that if it's not a 305, but the TNA one, the real big one that was huge, that one was 3, 6, 7 plates, right? Yeah, because they had three on
Yeah.
each side. So, excuse me, going back to this type of style and with the leather cut, with the etching, the details, if you get a chance to look at them, look at the furthest side plate, the amount of details on it,
Yeah.
the rivets, the floor pattern, it looks like if you look at where it says TNA, it looks like an explosion from the top or bottom, like it's a bomb that went off above it because how the pattern is looking, and it's so detailed. It's it's so many things. I know y'all just sitting there looking like, oh, this honeycomb hexagon pattern under champion, the black banner behind champion, the red
Hmm.
globe on the side draws
Hmm.
your eye to the red in the middle. It's not too
Hmm.
much red with the TNA and the globe. It's so subtle. They outdid themselves with this belt. This by far, the more I see it, I feel like that's going to become my favorite TNA world champion.
Hey man,
This one.
as you were talking, I'm looking at it, and I was going in my head like already making comparisons, like because my favorite one is the very first TNA World Heavyweight. I call it the TNA Winged Eagle,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, man, this one might got that one beat.
Because the
And
details.
I like all of TNA's championships, with the exception of the Global Force Championship. But
Because that wasn't
yeah,
TNA.
man, I can't. I don't disagree with you. What about you, Brother Hugh?
Man, I agree with him 100%. I already gave my take on it, so
Yeah.
It's
No,
beautiful.
this thing's an absolute beauty. Like I said, it's giving me old school TNA vibes, but it's giving me like, man, this is a world championship. That's how it's supposed to look. Like that's how I look
Mhm.
at my Wrestling Wrealm championship. I look at that and say, man, that's the world championship. I look over and I go, that's a world championship right there.
That's literally their
Like,
big goal. That's
yeah,
what I'm getting.
yeah. No, that thing is absolute
Like
beauty.
with
But
no content, just showing up. And the thing I can appreciate with TNA, they
mhm.
don't have name plates, they don't have side plates.
Yeah, you don't need them.
But whoever has it, you know where they stand in the line of importance.
Sure.
You know that this person with this belt is the top person. But then we look at the tag, yeah, they're the top person there. You look at the digital media, oh, this is different. What's this belt? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So, and that leads me to my favorite out of bunch so far,
Mhm.
which I wanted to keep it last for a couple reasons.
Because X marks the spot. Check that out from season
It
one.
does.
Check
From
it out.
season one
Season
of
one.
Championship Culture.
Championship culture.
Hmm
Hit the playlist, YouTube, Wrestling Wrealm play account, playlist, Championship culture.
YouTube.com/the Wrestling on YouTube championship culture playlist.
So let me hear y'all take on it before I give you my. And I don't want to hijack it and say like this is where we end the show, but
You
when
kind
I
of
give
already
you my
hijacked the
take,
show. It's
Right.
called
Yeah.
Championship Culture Takeover. Like
It's
it's too late.
already
Yeah.
known that.
so what say you, brother Allen, when you see this realness?
Mhm.
What's your take on this belt? Let's hear what the people want to hear. What you have to say, brother Allen.
Okay, well, thank you. That's mighty generous of you. Let me go first on this one. This
Because you
X
always
Division
leading.
Championship is when you look at the subtleties of it, is first of all, it's a brand new silhouette, and I'm talking about the full belt, as in, like you said, the cuts of the metal away from the plates, as well as just the overall color. Like I don't think we've had this. Brother, is this more of a silverish belt? You would say?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like this silverish belt, but if you look at the shape at the bottom of it and you look at the shape
Mhm.
at the top of it, like those two,
Symmetrical.
that part of the plate represents like the original NWA TNA X Division Championship. That's the vibe I get. Of course, you got the big X in the middle, but then you have the rounded edges on the side that remind me of the upgraded version of that, right? Which was I guess, considered the second version of the X Division Championship. And then when you look at just the side plates and how big the X is, and then everything that kind of covers it, it's one of the championships that it shows me like they're trying to acknowledge the past while embracing the present and letting you know where the future is. It's right in line with the rest of the or the previous X Division championships, and man, it's got such a it's to me it's hard to merge classic and new. You know what I mean? And to be able to do that, it takes a lot of talent to be able to do such a thing. And that's the one thing I'm noticing the most from this X Division chapter. But it's a beauty though. They did a really good job on it though. What say you, brother Hugh? How do you feel about this new X Division championship?
I like it. I like it a lot. The banner at the bottom is kind of throwing me off, like the little curved. I don't.
It looks like a
know.
mustache.
Oh, see now that you said that, yeah, it does. But other than that, I mean, you hit it spot on. Like it's perfect. It's paying homage to past titles and just giving it a more modern feel. So I definitely like this belt.
I mean, I don't know. Just when you look at it, when I first I think this was the first one they showed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the first one.
I was like, whoa. I said, this is what we doing now? We punching people in the face. Like I knew at that point, I was like, yo, this is going to be like
I'm back,
to me
guys.
when they showed this new X Division championship, it kind of set the tone for what I felt like was to come. And like I said, so far we've gotten 4 championship belts that they revealed. We have 2 more. I'm like, man, they hit a home run with this one.
Man,
You know, the
it's
X
that.
Division.
Oh my bad. It's
The
that
X,
color scheme. That color scheme too, bro. That color scheme on these belts is just crazy.
bro, I
Red,
have
black,
a belt that's
gold.
silver and black, silver, black, and red. So like I know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And man, it's being a part of these type of championship belt reveals is different. So I'm getting a kick out of it, and it's I'm speechless because in my mind I'm playing over my head. This looks like the most world title ish out of all the X Division championships previously. The most recent one they had when Anthem was really, really good, but it was a fresh design. It was a unique design versus this one is like, no, this reminds me of TNA. Like it says it, first of all, it says it right across the, and you got to remember the X Division championship was such a unique championship in the first place is because it was supposed to be undefined. That's what the X stands for. You know what I mean? The X division, because you got guys that aren't defined by, it was pretty much a cruiserweight division, but then you had guys like Samoa Joe that could perform in the X division. And it was meant to be like no boundaries, unhinged. And, you know, they had such it's one of the more unique championship that were kind of like brought into wrestling history when TNA was kind of doing their own thing, when they were still the NWA TNA, and they had that belt that just had a big X on the front. And then the matches and the talent that kind of made that championship and that followed suit. And I expect the same thing for this championship as well. Brother Brandon, the X Division Championship, probably one of your favorite championships, if not your favorite championship. We're in the next generation of it.
Well,
The evolution.
I got dropped off for a minute. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Okay. All right. So I missed your whole take on it, but I'm going to say this, and I might have duplicated some things that you say, but when this first got revealed, my first thought was, how did they make the belt better? The fact that it is a tribute to all of the X Division belts that came before it, and it went back to making the X the focal point of it, and still showing you, because this could be interchanged with the most important belt. Like, let's say something happens to your world champion. This could be it. And to understand the importance of the X Division and why it's my favorite, this is what made TNA watchable for me. This is what made me pay attention to TNA. The Ultimate X match, the X Division had no limits. You could have a Samoa Joe. You could have an AJ Styles. You could have a Chris Sabin. You could have these people that were putting on these matches that was sometimes in the TNA history more important than the world title. And remember, in this first iteration, the history of it was the NWA X Division Championship. And then it was the NWA TNA X Division Championship. But to have this revealed as the first one, Scott D'Amore said, I'm coming out swinging. Y'all better be prepared. It's the first time that the X Division belt, I'm almost sure, has a property plate on it. And the property plate fits in with the design. It doesn't take away from it. It has that oomph. Same thing like I said before. It looks like it was broken from the center. The detailing of the strap. The whole thing about it just being silver, black, and red with the splash of yellow. The hexagon shapes on the side. The floor pattern, which is ridiculously large on the side under the globe, just makes you say, holy crap, look at this. Everything about this is such a nod to where the X Division has been. And as much as the fact that Chris Sabin was the last Impact X Division champion, now he's the first TNA X Division champion again, and being a 10-time world champion, 10-time X Division champion, speaks volumes to that history. And I think that's why he kicked it off, because he is a TNA original. We watched Chris Sabin grow up. And, you know, one of the first people that made you pay attention to Option C. And if nobody knows what Option C is,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was watching it, and when he cashed in and became the world champion, it felt like we were validated. And this was like the last hoorah before TNA got bad. And it was like, okay, we got something to hold on to, but then TNA just got bad. Austin Aries, Rockstar Spud, Brian Cage, Josh Alexander, Kazarian, all made Option C something notable to this belt. The Ultimate X match was so important when this belt was on the line, to the point they just started doing an Ultimate X for everybody else. So this belt, I'm more excited to see this belt than any other belt, because One, when he took it out the belt, the way the light caught it, everything about it just looked like it's going to be perfect on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, the X Division is where the stars were made. We don't have an AJ Styles without this X Division.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have Alex Shelley getting his. Finally, he won that belt because remember, the X Division title eluded him. He was in the X Division for years, most of his career. Went off as a tag team. Then finally, when he got it, it validated him, and now he's the world champion. You can have people like Abyss, Homicide. I keep saying Rockstar Spud, Kid Cash, Sanjay Dutt. Brian Kendricks had it too, right? Dwayne. I
I
think
don't know
Brian
if he did or
Kendricks.
not. I know he was there for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, but I think he had it because we were at one point. It was Amazing Red, Kitty King. You know, you name it. Who's who in the wrestling industry has been part of this division, and I
Sure.
feel like
Yeah.
this history
Samoa
because it
Joe.
was Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels. When you look at this belt because of the rich history, this is TNA's belt.
Mhm.
Because everything, and when you know the history of TNA, they were under the NWA banner, so they had the
Sure.
NWA World's title and the NWA Tag title. They had the NWA X Division. Then they said no, it's NWA TNA X Division Championship. It's just everything about it is just great. I think it's the only belt that not been changed in name really, like the global title.
Sure.
I mean the
You,
legend.
you'll never get
Global.
another X Division championship anywhere.
Yeah, that's it, and it's the only one that has been replicated. Yeah, we can talk about the knockout / women's title, but it's always been the X Division. It's always been the X Division Championship. So this is by far my favorite TNA belt. This design is definitely my favorite because it's when I look at it, I see every version.
Mhm.
You literally can see
Yep.
version 1 in the X, version 2, the side plate tile.
Mhm.
It was coming out. Version 3, which was the Intercontinental belt that they just slapped in the middle with the X. Version 4.1, the global, and the current one was, a stacked X and with the owl. Oh, that's the other thing. Did you see where the owls are on these belts?
Yes. Yep.
I thought that was a cool take. They said, nope, we're gonna put it right there, so it's no discussion. It's right there on the logo. So, and this doesn't have a globe. It only has globes on the side, not in the center plate.
Right.
No, it's like I said, I'm speechless. So far, they've been 4 for 4.
Yes.
I don't expect anything less with the women's title that to be revealed the day after this show, and then the day after that, and yeah, I think we did it. I just have one last question for you when it comes to these teenage championships. How long before you pull the trigger? Because we all know. I feel like you have a catalog and like a backlist of stuff you need to grab, and it's only a matter of time. He's probably already ordered them. He makes that face. He makes that face, and he's probably already pre-ordered stuff. So it doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us today on this very, very championship
No.
culture.
You don't get off that. You don't get off that quick. I got a question for you.
Okay,
Oh.
go ahead. Because I was about to wrap it up. Like he's making that
I
face.
just
Like,
got
nope.
one question for you. Last question. Which title are you most excited for? Out of all the new belts that we got, from the global, the IWGP global title, the X Division Tag, World, Digital Media, which title are you most excited for?
Probably the TNA World title. It's just I don't know. It's something about it. It's to me. It's I like big titles. The global title for New Japan is not big enough for me. If it was bigger, I'd be like, okay, now we cook on grease. But it's a little bit smaller. And the strap. The strap is the complete opposite of what we're looking at with the TNA titles, right? So the strap is just like silhouette. It matches the plate of the silhouette and the main plate, and then it just flattens out. I've always liked my straps on my belts to have a little bit of curve to them, not just the shape of the plate and then just like one flat, the flat edge to carry. To me, that only works for one belt, and that was the NWA original World's Heavyweight Championship. The 10 pounds of gold.
That it was just
Yeah, so like that
old
would it
strap,
makes sense on that, but yeah, so Well, yeah, the TNA World Title is really tickling my fancy right now. I like it a lot. It's growing on me, and I'm like, ooh, I think I might need to put it on my list. So, and it's crazy because I've always liked the one above you. I've always liked the Impact, the Anthem World Champs that they had. But then, like when I watched the video of the new TNA title with that title, there's just no comparison. Like it's the detail in one just outshines the other. And I'm like, oh wow, I thought that belt looked like it was a world title. This one just blows that one out the water. So, and also
I
shout out
think
to the
the
Motor City
problem with
Machine
these
Gun.
belts,
Mhm.
and I hate to say it, when I look at them, they focused on the owl a lot.
Of
in
course,
those
yeah.
belts. The owl was the focal point for each of those belts. Like now seeing those, I'm like, dang, we were got by. Wow, the owl is really that's the main part that they really was those
They
three
went to
belts for the men.
Anthem Sports completely.
And the women's the knockouts was just the owl on the side plates. Remember, just in the center on each side. But it's the thing where it's like, oh, okay, I see what you did there. Even on the I don't even know where I put it.
You
The
lost it.
women's Impact one. Sorry, I know we gotta go. They
No,
only,
you good.
they didn't have the owl on it. That's what it was. It wasn't an owl on the Impact tag.
Mhm.
Impact women's tag didn't have an owl.
Okay.
The people want to see it, man.
It's this one. I had to look. You said I had to look at it.
Okay, I'm just saying. People want to see
Mhm. Yeah, I got no beef with those championships. I did. They were just,
Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
taking anything away from them. I'm just saying this one definitely is an example of how the center plate looks. I mean, the side plates look like it was broken from the center.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this, actually, because of the cut and everything, it
Mhm.
does look like it came straight from the center.
Yeah. No,
Not-
these they've done a very good job with that. I think the most unique titles I've seen in recent day were like the WWE Women's Tag titles. You know, what I mean, they look completely different from anything I've ever seen before. And it's nice to see other companies like TNA Wrestling are following that trend and just embracing new designs and new uniqueness and still trying to find a way to pay homage to the past while moving forward in the present. But
Now, I know we don't have the women's titles yet,
Mhm.
but can we say that this might possibly be the best collection of belts as far as wrestling promotions? Right now?
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's easy.
Even if the women belts don't hold up from
Yeah.
what they produced, these are going to be.
4 out of 6 still. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, think
Worst
about it.
case
The
scenario.
women's belts that we've gotten from them have been great. They haven't
have
had
been
that
great.
women's belt.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, because their original one, even though it was small, it looks prestigious because of it was like that crown on the top and the
Big
whole
crown.
the floor pattern. Even when they changed it to and it was dual plated. Remember the original one was dual plated.
Mhm.
If you go back and look at Ladies Night, there's a whole in depth look into that, and there's
Yeah.
a signature on my belt, and you can see why. All I'm gonna say is 11-time world champion signed it, but okay.
That will be
back
posted later.
Ladies Night.
YouTube.com/Wrestling Wrealm Championship
Ah.
Culture playlist.
I was like, is he asleep? I was like, maybe he's stuck. We
No, I
talked a
did.
lot of belts tonight.
You say what?
We've talked a lot of belts tonight.
No, but this is why I appreciate you guys coming on the show and doing this version of the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast and this hashtag Championship Culture Takeover Edition is because, like I said, it's not our fault that all this championship action is going on, and I feel like, hey, what better way to kind of keep it in context by bringing in the guys that discuss championships each and every week as we also prepare and walk into season 2 of Championship Culture. Like I said, it's the latest and greatest show from the Wrestling Realm. January 23rd. It's coming
wanna play
soon. It'll be here before you know it, right before the Rumble. So there's
you
a
play
lot
the
going
bird?
on. Say what?
Why you play the clip with the bird?
He did
But that's
earlier.
we're saying it for the end. So
Okay.
that's,
I
that's
think
how
you
we
like it.
close. No, yeah, that's
Look,
how
I
we
know
close.
you like it.
No, that thing is fire. It's one of that's my favorite thing. But yes, like I said, as this we're loading up, man. Season 2 of Champions Culture is a big deal. That's why the advertising and the marketing and the prep for it is all going into all the work that you guys have put into season 2. It's going to be the best one yet, even though it's only season 2. But I'm just the jump from season 1 to season 2 is already going to be off the charts. I'm excited to be a part of it. It's one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite. And also it's part of the brand, so I'm excited to be here. But We thank you for everybody that kind of stuck with us, everybody that commented, decided to be a part of the show, and for those who will go back and watch the show. Trust me, we're just getting started. The Wrestling Realm Championship culture is going places, and it's going there fast. So we're trying to make sure we continue to produce content that's worthy, continue to keep the conversation engaging and having fun. And if you want to keep up with us, please follow us on all social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube channel at the Wrestling Realm. Also, Championship Culture officially has an Instagram page where you can keep up with news, media, digital, everything related to Championship Culture. This is Championship Culture 2023. Are we sticking with that, Brother Hugh?
For right now, yes.
Okay.
It will
So
change.
until it changes, Championship Culture 2023 on Instagram. And I'm sure it'll come in other places. But like I said, as the brand is growing, it's growing really, really fast. We appreciate those who are involved in championship culture, those that collect belts, those that love talking belts, love to just enjoy feeling like a champion. That's why I got mine. Makes me feel like a champion. Shout out to Brother Guy. So we appreciate you all for joining us today for this very special edition of the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast. We will be back to our regularly scheduled program next week, I think. And we'll be one step closer to the Royal Rumble. But guess what? We'll also be one step closer to season 2 of Championship Culture. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Brother Brandon, don't you have something to tell the people?
Oh, absolutely. Every belt has a story.
Every belt has a story, ladies and gentlemen. Championship Culture.
You get a kick out of that.
I do. I get a kick out of it. Championship Culture Takeover Edition. We will see you guys next week. We are out of here. Thank you. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Catch us back at our normal time next week so we can get more Wrestling Realm content off the ground, and we just keep on talking and going. We out. Peace out.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!